me and Ryan have been officially welcomed to the jungle that is Barstool Sports.
I brought it toward the Coyotes, and I asked them if it was okay if I joined the Spittin Chiclets podcast full time.
Ryan Whitney's got a pink Whitney out there now.
Hey, there's a Sandbagger. Get that on camera.
Peakin, the song man, is a full-time member.
Marley just got an assist from Chris B.
Whoa, we're buzzing right now. Sonk.
What is up, folks? Welcome to episode 599 of the Spittin Chiclets podcast. Coming up on 600, and this is one of my favorite weeks of the year, guys. Thanksgiving. What an incredible time to be around friends and family. My brothers are coming home. I'm all fired up. But first, we got to talk about Discover, guys. This episode is presented to you by Discover. We're sponsored by Discover, the official credit card of the NHL, the National Hockey League. No matter if your team wins or loses, Discover is there for you with cash back on all of your post-game purchases. With the Discover IT card, you earn cash back on every purchase. So celebratory wings just got even better. Learn more at discover.com/credit card. Cash back on team gear, cash back on tickets, cash back on fries, etc., etc. The Discover NHL Winter Classic is taking place on January 2nd, 2026 in Miami. Welcome to Miami. Tune into TNT. Get cash back on every purchase with the Discover IT card. Learn more at discover.com/credit card. What is up, folks? What is up, boys? I'm buzzing right now, guys. It's a Monday afternoon, and let me tell you, Biz, we talked about Peakin that Keith and I had got to see it already. Phenomenal. The feedback's been amazing, and people loved our bagger. Besides those AI heroes that you told to suck the fart out of your bumhole, the public loved the video. They loved it.
They love it. They love it. Great responses on both. I'm so happy to see you boys. There's so much to talk about.
I know.
I am giddy. And I also sat around this weekend and did nothing. I sat around in my tracksuitos, boys. I got so much rest and just chilled. And I watched a movie that wasn't There Will Be Blood.
When you sent that text, that picture, I actually I was like, I'm so proud of you, man. Like I was like, he'll never do it. And for people who are curious, we've been telling this guy to watch Heat for years. And RA was on your case, and all of a sudden we get a still image of a scene at the end. And I said, oh my God, he did it. He did it. It was like the Grinch, like loving Christmas. Like my soul was full.
Yep.
I've never got a text from you so quickly back. Like you just, it's like the minute I hit send, you were replying that you were so proud of me. It's like Ryder hitting his first drive, Squanto punching his first neighbor in the face. But going
what
back
did you think of it, Biz?
I thought it was incredible. Yeah, there was it could have I'm going to get shit on for saying this. I feel like there was a few parts where it was like the skyline where it could have used a little bit of AI. It could.
No. That's actually where I'll go with the AI people, and I'll come to your house with a pitchfork and a fucking fire.
No, buddy, they were using. It felt like in like 2 or 3 of the scenes they were using CGI, but it was back then. Yeah, and it killed a bit of the authenticity for how great that movie was. Like it was a 9.8 out of 10.
That's all you want right there.
The fact that you have 2 lead actors going, I could on the spot right now, I can't think of another movie where you have 2 heavy hitters like that as the main actors going back and forth. Like, can you give me an example?
Well, your guy, I mean, your There Will Be Blood OG, Daniel Day-Lewis, was head-to-head with Leo in Gangs in New York. RA must be just rubbing
I'll be
himself
honest,
right now.
I felt that Daniel Day-Lewis carried Leo in that movie.
Whoa. Yeah, he was amazing in that. That movie wasn't very good, I don't think. But I'm just thinking of 2 big dogs.
Yeah, I would put Heat above it.
So Heat was like Crosby Ovechkin when they both had the hat trick in the conference finals. Like it was just toe to toe.
What an example,
right? Like they're like 2 of the greatest that are both performing at a high level, whereas in Gangs in New York, Leo. Okay.
Did you just pull that out of your ass?
I pulled it right out of my ear. How about my ears?
Unreal.
That movie was in 1995 too, so you gotta realize that some of the stuff isn't going to be as good, but the plot and the shootout scene, like everything, still it ages well.
I don't think I've ever seen a better natural shootout scene. It felt real to me.
Yeah, very real. Feel like you're on the street.
Yep.
And I'm just so thankful you watched it, man. Just to have something else to talk to you about other than the sun going deaf and the oil thing exploding and like, the bowling alley scene at the end. It was like, I need something else to talk to this guy about with film.
And the respect and the symbolic kind of handshake when Al Pacino puts his hand out to him when it's all said and done. It just, yes, definitely a lot more of a happier ending than a priest getting his head bashed in with a bowling pin. I can really agree with you on that one. But going back to the two other things, Peakin, awesome response. Thank you very much. I said it last pod. Like, I felt like it was already a success before it came out, and I had such an enjoyable time with Corey and Tyler and Wonton, who spent so much time and energy on the back end editing it and putting this thing together. Like, one thing that Donnie, not only is he super intelligent, but he's a great storyteller. Like, his narration and like the silly type of sentences he uses in order to put these masterpieces that he creates together. Like, he's phenomenal at it. So credit to those guys for the edit and everything they were able to do in post. And
the Don's coming on today. We're going to be able to chat with him a little bit later.
Yeah, and you guys will see, those of you who don't know him real well and maybe are very wrapped up into the hockey world and don't follow Barstool, just a highly, highly intelligent, fascinating guy, and we'll talk to him on the back half. The Sandbagger, I mean, the lot of bitching also about the birdie. We didn't talk about the birdie last week.
Yeah, I'm glad you brought that up. So what has happened here, folks? And listen, I love doing the shots. There's times I'm like, this is out of control because the 3-on-3 scramble. And another thing, people are like, I like the 2-on-2 better. I'm going to give you a Whitney suck a fart out of my butthole. It's Keith, Biz, and I. We're getting an extra guy to do these with. Scrambles are way more fun. I never thought I'd say that, but when you're with 6 guys, it's awesome. And I'm not very good at golf anymore, and it's just more enjoyable for us. So once again, take a hike. It's still a lot of fun. But the drinking, that episode, there was 10 shots. Like, everyone out there who's had Pink Whitney and maybe 10 shots in a 4-hour span, you're smothered. You're smothered. Oh, yeah. And after we had the Sandbagger with foreplay and Riggs literally like unresponsive, like can't walk, can't talk, can't see, can't do anything.
But he can fucking hit the ball.
But he can hit the ball
straight.
And I think that there was some maybe concerns like, all right, these guys are like obviously pretty waffled. They're driving around in golf carts. I don't think it's a message we want. So this is not our choice. We're not allowed to show
It was a request from the top, but we can understand where it's coming from. But it's also a testament to you guys and also the Bruins guys. You guys do 10 of these things and you're still piping drives. Like, you guys are better at golf when you're smothered on Pink Whitney. So
and that's not good, Keith. That's not good.
Oh no,
that's not good. It was good that it was videoed because I don't remember from hole 7 on. I didn't remember
when I watched that,
anything that went on.
I watched that video.
I didn't remember if we won or lost.
The 13th hole, I birdied it, and I was like, "Oh, dude, I'm pretty good. My golf memory is a little like
unreal.
Crazy.
It's crazy. You remember every shot.
Kind of Rain Man." And I was like, "I don't even." And I know that course. The 15th hole when we decided to like just almost give the match away by putting lefty and righty and missed a 3-foot. I was like that I passed a lie detector test.
You guys were still making better decisions than me though, and I hadn't had one shot. So.
True.
Well, I want to thank everyone for watching. Go tune in. We have another special one coming out pretty soon, and then a third before the end of the year. So shout out Pasha. He does an awesome job. And everyone, be quiet with your complaints, man. It's Thanksgiving week. Just enjoy what you have.
I never thought I'd hear you say suck a fart out of your butthole.
Yeah. But 3-on-3 scrambles, I love doing those with you guys. Biz, I loved us doing it because at that time I was like better and I wanted to play golf and play my own ball. Now I'm like, dude, I don't really play as much golf anymore. I'm not that good. And now we got Keith in the mix. It's like, this is a dream. It started with Bob Does, and I was like, this is the way now.
I would definitely say that, like, I hated letting you down because, like, when you didn't hit a good shot, then I had to, or we are done. Now that it's 3-man, like we might use, 6 to 10 of my shots in a round. And I love that. Like that's way more pressure off of me, and Jans takes pressure off of you. I agree. I love the 3-on-3, but that's the beauty about where we're going with the Sandbagger. So you just mentioned we have 2 more coming out. Well, the next one's you 2 versus me and Paige. And then the following one is it's me and the Duke versus you 2. So we're going to continue these 2-on-2 dynamics. I've also taught with the popularity of the Internet Invitational. I think it would be cool to go somewhere like Chabot or maybe Gazer and do like a mini tournament. What if you got 8 different teams of 3 and you did, I thought of this one. If you did 4 teams of 3, you play each group 9 holes on one day. So one day you're doing 27 holes. And then I know that's a lot, right?
No, not a lot if you're not drinking Pink Whitney.
No. I think we would obviously say maybe you do a shot every 2 birdies or 3 birdies your own group gets. Like that's part of it. So by the end of the day, you might have 10, or like 8 to 10 shots, which you're still going to be smothered, but at least Pink Whitney's going to love this one. But at least it's over the course of a full day, and we'll make sure you get some carbs in you too.
Yeah. Big pasta meal out on the course.
So then based on scoring, one would play 4 the next day. As the first seed, though, you would have to get an advantage. Like you would maybe get 1 stroke, I think 1 stroke would be a nice advantage for getting the top seed versus 4. And you would play 9, and then 2 would play versus 3. And then the championship match would be, I think, 9 holes, or you could do another 27 that day and make the final 18. But I feel like
the final 18.
Really?
Final 18.
Yeah, I feel like the micro 9s, it's like things happen quick. You gotta, you can't fuck up. You gotta bring it. So
it took you 7 years to watch another movie, so I know your brain. Other people can handle not having micro 9s going. We got enough micro penises watching this thing in the chat and one of the hosts. So let's stick with the 18 for the championship. Let's stick with the 18 for the championship.
I think we need to have us versus Luke Kwan at some point.
He would have to play all of us.
Yeah,
like he's that good.
Right.
I saw a clip. Melosi today was on a thing, and he says the rangefinder was never on. He said it had it on first hole, was told it was off, and then he said, "I swear I never had it on." So you know what? I said 1,000% it was on. It's Thanksgiving week. I'm thankful for what I have. I probably shouldn't have said that. I believe Melosi. Now, I'm not going to not believe this guy on Thanksgiving week if he's standing in front of a camera saying, I never had the thing on. That's golf.
What about next week? Are you believing him?
I don't think so, no. Right before Christmas, I'm actually shopping for gifts, motherfucking everyone, and then I'm like, he had it on. But, yeah, Luke Kwan would be funny. I think PFT's doing something with him or planning something with him, so that'd be pretty cool.
Oh, awesome. Yeah, no, that whole thing. To wrap that up, though, I got to thank the boys. All the people who helped film the bagger as well. Nick, a.k.a. Luke, he's got a new nickname. I called Nicky Luke this week because we were going to interview Luke Robitaille, which will go down, I think, is my top 10 interview in Chiclets history. I was laughing my cock off the entire time. The story about him on the power play, I'm not going to give it away. I couldn't believe it. Anyway, obviously Posh, G, Fish, Logan's usually there. Was he there for the Bruins one? G, you can hop on and help.
I don't remember the Bruins one.
We did a Bruins one?
I believe he was there for that one, but then we moved on to a different guy who helped us out was Nate.
And
it's been awesome.
Any other names I'm forgetting?
Fasuli. You got to give Fasuli a shout out. He's always
Fasoli, right?
Fasuli. Hey, Fasuli. But thank you to our whole team who gets all this stuff done. Just like I thank the editors, like the boys who did peaking. Like these guys grind. They're on the course all day holding up a camera for us to provide our fans with entertainment. And then, of course, the main man, Pasha. We love you, Pasha. And not only is Pasha providing some of the best content we have, his team is now providing what could be the biggest hockey story since McDavid entered the league. I don't think we need to hop in it quite yet, but I'll tease it at that. So to Pasha, I will kiss you on the forehead. You are providing a lot to what's going on. And the last thing I'll say for the Spittin Chiclets YouTube channel that just hit 427,000 followers, ChicletsU. Mike Grinnell's favorite one, I think he said to date in Maine, just because it was at Noah's Ark in that arena. So, we got a trailer for the new ChicletsU.
Ready, 1, 2.
We want to be the best developmental program in college hockey. We have a pure hockey environment up here. You are playing for the whole state of Maine.
All right, I'm out of here. I'm out of here. Monty, I'm out of here, buddy. This is mine now, Monty.
He probably tried to sell that for cash at the casino, knowing Murr.
I love how G sits in the student sections for those games, gets right in the mix. He looks like a college kid still, so it's fucking hilarious.
I also, Murr sends us these videos. I wake up to him. Sunday night, the West Coast game, right, for NHL. It's like, dude, I can't believe he's up. He had Farabee to score a goal. He hit the post on an empty netter, and then we wake up to the video, and it's just every night the guy has a bad beat. It's incredible. You got to love Murray. He has a national championship trophy now, so shout out him. And you know what? G's college show, ChicletsU, kind of leads me into what I want to talk about first today, and it's actually not NHL related. Just quickly, what a story. What a story about hometowns sticking with playing more sports than just one and being loyal. And that's Mason West, the Chicago Blackhawks draft pick, first-round draft pick last year out of Edina High School. And the story was told he was going back to Edina High, and for the first half of the year, going to school there because he was not done playing football. He had a state championship for Edina High's hockey team. He ends up being a first-round pick last summer. He was only a junior last year. And at this point, guys, like, forget being a first-round pick. When you're 14, even younger, which is just sad to say, kids are not playing other sports. And this kid was not like that. He always played football, and they lost in the state championship game his sophomore year for football. And then they lost, I think, not even in the title game, in the playoffs his junior. He said, I have unfinished business. And he told every team in all the interviews, listen, I understand, like, I want to be open with you, though. I'm playing football this year. And then he was going, and he is now going to be in Fargo in the USHL. He said, I got a state championship in hockey my sophomore year. I got to get one in football. 6'7" quarterback. They ended up winning it all, man. And the video of this kid, you could tell he's got his helmet on and stuff, but you could tell he's pretty emotional. And he's taking the last snap, and he's taking a knee, and they got it done. And it was like, I was thinking, for this kid, not only is it the pride and the happiness in getting a state title for his hometown. It's like, holy shit, I did this. I didn't get hurt. We actually won.
Yeah.
Like that's just, it's such a cool story in a day and age where kids are not playing other sports, and it's ridiculous. And there's been studies, and it's been proven, if you're 10, 11, 12, 13 years old, like, you become more athletic. You may love hockey, and that may be your dream, but do other things. Don't get burned out. And he never gave in. And I just quickly, Biz, before I go over to one of you two guys, I wrote down statistics. So their path to winning it all, they defeated 3 higher seeds. They avenged 2 regular season losses. They rallied in the fourth quarter 3 times from fourth quarter deficits, and they won 4 games that were decided by 7 points or less. So, like, this kid, man, congrats to him. Congrats to Edina. What a story
That is fucking nuts.
In a time when individualization, I believe is the word, stay hot, is just, it's too often that it happens.
And he's the starting quarterback.
6'7", and a first-round pick in the NHL. It's like
he's 6'7",
6'7".
Oh my
maybe
God, this guy, that is
41.
Hey, shout out to him also for being upfront and honest to all the teams, saying, hey, this is a risk I'm going to take. And some people might say, well, hockey, you're playing more games. You're probably dealing maybe with more hits, especially now, like, quarterbacks, I feel the rules help them a bit.
Yeah.
But nonetheless, buddy, like, I went to a football practice for Notre Dame High School because like at the time, like, I didn't know where hockey was going to take me. I believe contact had just started, and we had great mentors and people at our high school were like, hey, you're a big kid, you're athletic, like, you could maybe be like a tight end or something.
Oh yeah.
So I went out for like the first day to kind of like learn the basics of football. and my one of my close buddies, Mike Pitchell, he snapped his ankle first practice, and I'm like, fuck this. That was the last time I went to football practice. Wow. So that one practice, and also because I'm like, I don't think I'm as like likely to get like a nasty injury from hockey than I am football. Maybe I'm completely off base here, but I mean, when you're an NHL draft pick and you're that much closer to making the NHL than probably that he would be football, like what are this kid's chances of now getting like a D1 scholarship for football?
I think he has offers. Like being that big, I saw some videos of the throws the kid's making. Like in the final game, he was just 7 for 7. But the goalie on the Edina High School hockey team was the running back, had 6 rushing touchdowns. So this town and this state, I've been very clear. There is nobody that does it like Minnesota with youth sports and playing for your town. It's an incredible thing that I pray to the state of Minnesota. Don't change. Don't fall into the disgusting nastiness like Massachusetts has, where it is now a for-profit business that's all for money. It is still about the kids. It's still about youth sports and playing other sports in that state, and it's awesome. And
wow, well said, Whit.
And in all hopefully this kid goes on to have a 15-year NHL career and make millions, but like the memories he'll have from sticking to his guns and going back and do that, it's so
why
cool.
are you selling him short? I said
15 years is
both.
pretty
do both.
I'm not talking 15 years. I said on this podcast at some point in the history of our planet that you fucking laugh, bro. There is going to be a person.
I stick to that. No football, hockey players. No way.
There's going to be
football, baseball.
I guarantee I'm going to Mason
Chicago
West. Chicago
Bears should draft them.
What are the chances? Do you think it's more likely, Biz, that there is an athlete playing in the NHL and the NFL in the same season, or an NHL player with a straight stick that plays righty and lefty during games?
B.
Me too.
I would say
and that
B.
seems crazy.
I would say B, but I'm not counting out A. I'm not counting out A. I said that it would happen at a certain point. And what are the chances? If I would have said that this would have happened with this kid, this scenario, you would have laughed. You would have laughed at me if I said that.
Well, no, because, and I forgot to mention this, one of this kid's, I'm not going to say mentor. I don't know if they're close, but I know Anders Lee was a big person he looked up to. Anders Lee was the quarterback at Edina High, stayed and played his senior year, and wore number 9, and that's what Mason West wore. So I'm guessing that was a big part.
Did he win a high school title and a football title?
I don't know.
How many people have done that?
Look that up, G.
Is the chat on here?
You know what I like most about the whole story is what you said in those stats. Like they had to beat teams ranked higher than him. It's not like he was coming back to like this team that was automatically going to win it. Like he knew he had to put in the work. He knew that it wasn't going to be handed to them, but that just complete animal status from this guy to go back, do that. Imagine his first day back at high school. Like what the
he could realistically have a statue built in the town of him.
Yeah.
Like, I mean, this kid's an all-time legend.
Yep.
In Cake Eater Central, Edina, Minnesota. Shout out Justin Miser. So, yeah, it's awesome.
It's Cake Eater there.
That was from Adam
Mighty
Banks
Ducks.
was from Edina in Mighty Ducks, and they called him Cake Eater.
Oh,
I think it's a pretty affluent neighborhood. How about my vocab today?
You're buzzing.
Thanksgiving.
You're buzzing. Hey, I just got a question from G. Does it count if he plays in the CFL and the NHL?
No.
Yeah, I'll give you it. Give you it. He's a Saskatchewan Rough Rider. He's an Ottawa Rough Rider, and then he's a Columbus Blue Jacket. And we got it all. We got the trifecta.
Win is humming right now.
Incredible
8 teams, 2 of them named the Rough Riders.
Yeah.
He threw for 7,600 yards and 93 TDs in his career at high school. Like that's fucking.
What a stallion.
And his running back is the goalie. Like when does that ever translate?
What position does he play in hockey?
Forward.
Goalie.
Forward, big old forward. Hopefully he's physical.
Does he chuck him?
I don't know. He played 10 games in the USHL last year. He had like point per game. That probably was a big part of why he got picked by Chicago late in the first.
You ever seen Anders Lee's quads? Could you imagine him as a running back?
No, I've seen that guy's legs, Crosby-esque. And shout out the Blackhawks. They let him do it. I mean, not that they really had a choice because he told them, but Kyle Davidson was at a game this year. I think the vice president of the team lives around
football
there.
Game?
Yeah, they
That's
went to a
sick.
game when Chicago's in town for the rookie tournament, Minnesota. So an awesome story. Instead, have your kids play.
We
got to
get him on.
Yeah, I'm in the midst of trying to do that. Mize Dog, hook it up. We're gonna go to the NHL now, and not even a crazy week. We got a long show coming up for here, and I'm excited to be here for a long time. But I gotta bring up Jack Hughes. This guy, even with a cast on, even with a messed up hand from a broken glass, he's making news, Biz. He's making news. He's out on date with I guess one of the top rocket launchers in the game, Tate McRae. And now, question is that her? People said no. Then the picture comes out with the shirt on. I feel kind of odd talking about a girl with a belly shirt on out to eat with a 24-year-old. But Pasha,
people are still questioning this. I thought this was 100%. This is it. This is a thing.
Same earrings too. Yeah, that was her. That's her.
Yeah, that's her.
This is ridiculous. The picture of Frank the Tank. Pasha, can you confirm that that's real?
Yeah, that's real. I saw another post of them like walking down the street. Someone snapped a photo of them. So yeah, I mean, I love to see that. Just two people, top performers in their respective fields. I love it.
You guys think I'm stupid, but this could be the biggest thing to happen to the league since McDavid came in. You guys fucking all
if it was Margot Robbie, I'd give you that. Like, is Tate McRae that world?
No, I would argue Tate McRae is like almost more
3 nights in a row.
What?
She could sell it. What do you do? Are you done, Pasha?
I said I would argue that Tate McRae has almost more pull than Margot Robbie.
100%. We're talking about today's version of Britney Spears.
She's like just under Taylor Swift wit.
Holy shit.
I think that she could sell out the Garden 3-4 nights in a row if she wanted to.
Wow.
She's not doing
The Prudential
stadiums
Center.
yet, but she is it, buddy. And people, all the hockey traditionalists are like, buddy, you know what the NHL needs? Her in the boxes at every fucking Devils game. You know where else they need her? At the Olympics.
Yep.
Imagine her at the Olympics gold medal game, Canada versus US. You're doubling your viewership.
Oh no, I thought
Yeah,
Jack's
I'm
not
with
making
you
the
on
team
this.
according to Wit.
And by the way, Pasha, like I hate the guy, but as you just said, she could sell out MSG 3-4 nights in a row. You didn't hear he goes Prudential Center. Like, that's why I love him. That's why I love him, because that's such an insane comment that, like, we're talking about Jack Hughes and a celebrity, and he's like, no, it won't be at MSG. Like, he's a fucking nut. I almost want to get him off now.
Yeah, get him off.
What
is it? The movie Draft Day? Is it Draft Day or Moneyball? And they're like, yeah, have you seen the guy's girlfriend? And they don't draft him because the guy had
Moneyball.
ugly girlfriend. Like, you got to have so much props for a guy if your best player is wheeling and dealing an A-lister biz, like that's just good camaraderie for the locker room.
Oh, I think it's so massive for the league. I think every single owner of every team should be begging that this thing goes down and they end up getting engaged and married.
Yeah, I'm with you now. I didn't know she was
it
that
would bump up franchise values 10 to 15%. You guys think I'm crazy?
I know you're not.
If they're putting her on the jumbotron and putting her on TV, this is the NHL Taylor Swift, Travis Kelce situation all over again. But here's a little twist: Taylor Swift never dated another NFLer. She was once with Cole Sillinger, so there's another guy. This, like, add that spice into the mix, boys. Like, this is unbelievable for us.
There could be teams coming into the league expansion, and the fee could be 15 billion biz if this goes the way you're seeing.
Jack it up.
Now, I didn't know she was that famous, so I'm glad I was corrected there. I love it. And Keith said it best on the group chat when this news broke. He said, we need the best NHL players with celebrities. And I'm with you now. I'm with you, Biz. It's all about the money. Hey, more money to the owners means more money to the players. We're a player podcast. So good for Jack Hughes. Even injured, making the news, making the headlines.
Here's my other theory is that so where is Hockey Team Canada? Where's the location of Team Canada?
Calgary.
Where's Tate McRae from?
You think this is an inside job?
She's an inside job.
I think she could be a potential mole for Team Canada. I think that they thought there was some funny business with the Chicago cut incident. It reeked of some sort of setup, maybe LTIRing a bunch of the Team America, World Police, and getting them proper rest heading into Italy. I think that this could be a mole for Canada.
Jack, if you're listening, do not tell Tate anything about the team.
Don't, Jack. Don't do it.
What I could see happen.
I tell her anything, though.
This is my theory. They start dating. It's the Olympics come around. It's a huge story. She's in attendance, like the whole world's watching. And then she picks a fight with him on the gold medal game day when they're playing Canada, and he's off his game.
And then if Canada wins, she's out there with Celebrini at center ice. That would be.
I might
have to be like USA Hockey. Like, I don't know how we recover from this. Now we're probably getting a little ridiculous here.
Really?
Also,
you don't like you don't like my theory?
I hate your theory.
I actually I'm down with your theories on Thanksgiving week, man. I really am. I'm down with them. And I also got to say, it's been a tough go for Team USA, and all of our players and all these guys are going to play key roles with injuries. It's been kind of shitty, man. We've been dealing with a lot. And the most recent news is that our star goalie, MVP of the NHL, Vezina Trophy winner Connor Hellebuyck, is out for 4 to 6 weeks. So that's scary. I don't like that. I wonder how Winnipeg plays while he's out. But we have a former Jet right now that's coming on the show to join us. A hell of a career and a 2-time Stanley Cup champ, Andrew Ladd. Let's bring this guy in, G. I can't believe you got him on. What's up, Ladder?
What's setup?
What's up, fellas? Did we get some new
cups behind him?
He's shooting.
Did we get some new hats? Did we get some new hats or what?
Yeah.
And we didn't even talk about all wearing the different versions. Can you believe our chemistry Thanksgiving week, Ladder?
That is chemistry, buddy. Boy.
I know.
I'll send you some merch.
What's going on with you? Where are you at these days?
I'm in Kelowna with every retired NHLer in Western Canada.
That's how many guys are there, huh?
Oh,
yeah, we got quite a few. So I mean, like Mike Smith, Wade Redden, Shea Weber, Cody Franson, Jordan Tutu. I'm sure I'm missing some, but
a lot of current guys there in the summer. So good skates.
Oh, buddy, they have the best summer skates. They have two different squads.
Yeah, there's been kind of since our group is kind of retired, there's been a new group of younger NHL guys that are spending more time here, which is fun to see.
Ladder, do you guys do the men's league? Do you guys still skate?
The Thursday night hockey league? Yeah, we do. So we got a great crew. Thursday nights, all those guys play, and it's like a 9 p.m. start, and it's an awesome time.
Has there been a fight in one of those games?
Oh yeah, Toots is probably running guys through the glass.
Toots runs everybody. So Toots is fun to watch. I think so we got Todd Simpson and Kent Simpson. This is predated. I just got in. This is you can't just get in. You got to wait your turn. So I just got in this year. But I think Todd and Kent have had a fight from what I've heard, and for the most part, it's pretty relaxed. But there is some intense moments.
How much hockey are you watching these days and stuff? What's your involvement with the game? Do you miss it? I mean, we all miss it, but what's your hockey knowledge? What's your puck knowing knowledge right now?
It's pretty, I would say. So I'm very involved with my kid. My kids are 12, 11, and 9. They all play. So I'm coaching all their teams. So from a development standpoint, I'm very involved with how are we developing kids. We have a foundation, which we'll get into maybe later, but there's it's called 1616, where we have a program for 10 to 12-year-old kids in the game that works on the mental side of the game. And then I work for an executive coaching firm called Novus Global, which is, and I'm the director of the sport division. So we work with franchises top to bottom, leadership, cultural, aspects of the game, and then one-on-one with athletes in every professional sport. So I'm pretty involved. I just have a bunch of different ways that I've stayed involved in the game while being able to stay here and obviously be connected with the family after the game.
Yeah. Was there a period of time where you maybe took a little bit of time off and it was just family, right at the start? Because it sounds like you're busy. One of the hard things when you retire is all of a sudden staying busy and not like thinking about not being in the locker room anymore. So it's hard.
Yeah, I took about a year. And I was working with a coach when I retired. And part of it was like, he's like, what do you want to do next? And I'm like, holy shit, I haven't answered or even thought about that question since I was like 9 years old. So it would like put my brain in a little bit of a pretzel. And then it was like, okay, what do I want my life to look like? So I definitely, a priority for me was like being with my kids before and after school, which is actually why I love what I do, because I can do most of it from Kelowna here. I can be involved in all their hockey and still have something that gives me purpose and keeps me in the game.
And we were just talking about the Mason West kid who played a Dyna football, drafted by Chicago. Like with your kids and kids that you're helping out, are you teaching them playing more than one sport, or is it just hockey specific?
No, my kids play everything. They all do, and they will as long as we can keep getting them in all the different places. But they play baseball, they play flag football. We were in Arizona at the end of my career, and flag football was there. They got into it. My boys did there, so they continue to play football here. Hockey's a big one, and then they do jiu-jitsu, they do rock climbing, they do all sorts of stuff. So I'm a massive believer in just being an athlete and doing a bunch of different stuff as long as you can.
Is that a Kelowna Rockets hat?
They say that's what happens when you coach in Kelowna. You get like 6 of these every year. Every team has their own hat, and so it is.
Because I was looking at your hockey DB, I'm like, I don't think he ever played for Kelowna.
I did not. I played a lot of different places, but not Kelowna.
That's a sick logo.
Yeah, it's awesome. They got a pretty good program still, right?
They do. Yeah, they're hosting the Memorial Cup this year. So they're not doing so hot right now. So I think they traded for a bunch of talented kids, and they're trying to put the pieces together right now.
I actually saw that where there was some Instagram like Kelowna's guaranteed to be in by hosting, and they're like not looking great, even in the WHL. Forget the whole CHL. But we mentioned that you played in Winnipeg, and just looking, it was Hellebuyck's rookie year that you played with him, huh?
Yeah. So he was just getting there when I was, I guess, on my way out at that time. So I remember like we made playoffs that year, and he was kind of the third goalie. So he was out there practicing with us at that time. But
Could you tell though what was coming?
You can tell. Yeah, there's been 2 goalies where I was like, you could tell right away as soon as you shoot on them. He was one, and then Ilya Sorokin was the other, where I was like, okay, yeah, these guys are gonna be good.
Why Sorokin? Like, what was it about it?
Oh man, it was like that. So that was in the bubble during COVID year. He came over, and I wasn't playing. I was with the Islanders at the time, and I still at the end of practice, the first time he's out there, and they begged the shit out of him the first day. I think Mitch Korn, who's a goalie guru, or actually I don't know if it was him, it might have been someone else, but his first ice time, they almost made him puke. Like he was all sorts of stuff. So we got on the ice with him the next day, and at the end of practice, he like grabs me. He's like, shoot out. So I grabbed 5 pucks, and we kind of do that 5 pucks at the top of the dot and just shoot. And I think I went 4 for 5, just like lit him up. And like I was just gonna get off the ice. And he's like, no, again. So I'm like, okay. The next time I was like 2 for 5. And then I was same thing, like again. I'm like, okay. And then after that, I couldn't score him
ever again.
Really?
Like figured something out.
He would collect the information on how you release the puck, and he would figure you out.
Yeah, I think he was part of. I'm sure it was like smaller rank, but he was just trying to get his angles and figure it out, and like so his ability to like problem solve, but also obviously like there's a determination in him that I was like, holy crap, man! Like this guy wants to be really good, and physically he just had all the tools. So so he was fun to see kind of come into that organization.
And same thing with Hellebuyck. Like, what was your time like with him? I mean, it's going to be a tough loss for the Jets right now. I mean, I feel like he's been healthy every year since he's been there.
Yeah, Bucky was like he's just like from a pure size. There's such different goalies, but from a pure size perspective, man, he takes up so much net, and he's so patient in there. So I think as a shooter early on, you could tell like his patience in the net was really strong. He didn't give you a whole lot. So you had to hit the perfect shot. Otherwise, you're hitting him in the shoulder or blow block or whatever. So you could kind of see that right off the hop.
Looking at your career, right? Like I think most people, when they think of your name, think of that Chicago Blackhawks 2010 championship. And it's almost like an afterthought that you were a part of that Carolina Stanley Cup winning team and kind of up and down throughout the year, but played a pretty big role in the playoffs. I'd like to hear more about that one because the qualifying offer disaster team in Chicago is a whole different story. That season, like, were you up and down, or once you got called up, were you there for good and then the playoffs?
Yeah, so I got called up early on in the year, I think maybe like November, and then I played 7 games that first year, and then I tore my meniscus in my knee. So I had a good start. I think I had 4 goals in 7 games, and then we were on the West Coast trip in Arizona actually, and hurt my knee. So then after, like, I rehabbed and kind of I was with the team that whole time, and then they sent me back down to Lowell, Mass, at that time. So I spent probably maybe another month, 2-3 weeks, and then actually Eric Cole broke his neck.
Yeah, or hit him. I remember that.
Yeah. So, and that was kind of like, he got hurt, and then he was the reason that they called me back up. And then I was kind of in and out of the lineup towards the end of the year. I missed the first round of the playoffs. I remember watching in Jersey. We played Montreal. So I watched Montreal, and then I watched most of the series with Jersey, and then I got in at the end of that series with Jersey. And then from that point on, it was me, Ray Whitney, and Matt Cullen. So I was riding shotgun with those guys, which was pretty awesome.
Yeah, go ahead, Jan. Sorry.
No, I was just gonna say that must have been a whirlwind for you, like just watching those games. Even like, were you thinking, "Hey, I might get in," where the coach is talking to you?
Yeah, I mean,
stay ready.
Yeah, I think that was something I like, that whole veteran group. I was so lucky to come into a team with like Rod Brindamore and Glenn Wesley, Brett Hedekin, Ray Whitney, Kevin Adams, and then we obviously added Mark Recchi and Dougie Wade as the year went on. So like, as a young guy watching them work day in and day out, like there was a level of like work ethic that they instilled in everybody. So as a young guy, I was just like, I'm just going to work, and then if I get in, I get in. But I'm going to stay ready. So I was always hopeful, but didn't know when it was going to happen. And then luckily, when it did happen, I was ready for that opportunity. And I think I brought a different maybe style of play at that point. It was more running around and finishing checks and creating space for Cully and Witt, who obviously are some pretty skilled players.
Pretty magical run, right? Like, I mean, that was when Eric Stahl like really established superstardom. I feel like, was Cam Ward did he win the Conn Smythe?
Wardo won the Conn Smythe. Yeah. And that was interesting too, because him and Martin Gerber were back and forth the whole year, essentially, with who was starting, and Gerb started in the playoffs, and then Wardo kind of took over in the Buffalo series, and then never looked back. So he was there, Stoller was there. So we had an interesting group of like younger, obviously up and comers, and then a massively veteran group, a guy like Corey Stillman, who had won a cup in Tampa Bay, and then came to us. And so Jimmy Rutherford did a great job out of that lockout of really putting together a team that could play that new style when there was like no clutch and grab. And it was kind of the first shift of how the game started changing with more speed.
Did you know Rod was going to be a coach? Like, would he talk about maybe being a coach when he retired? Because like, I mean, that must have been so fun to be in the locker room with that type of leader, and just like, how was he psycho too in the locker room? Like now?
I mean, there's a certain level of intensity. Like, you'd come in, he was the first guy there. You'd walk in and he'd have his Jordan high tops on with his shorts from his first year in Carolina, and his shirt's all tattered and ripped up, and he's ripping off squats. So there's a certain level of intensity, but like also thoughtfulness with him. Like he wasn't a loud, boisterous guy, obviously, but like he would have no problem grabbing you and having a conversation with you. So I always said his intuition on what was going on in the room was extremely high, and he knew when the right time to speak was. So I'm not surprised that he's a coach. I think that there's a lot of guys I think you think of, and it's like, if they're willing to put in the time and effort, because that is such a massive time commitment after you're done playing, then it wouldn't be a surprise. But might have surprised me a little bit that he wanted to continue to go down that road.
That's such a incredible quality. What you said, just like the intuition of knowing maybe who needs, like, hey, I'm gonna go chat with this kid. He's 23 years old. He hasn't played great in the past few games. So I'm wondering for you that year, first year pro, you missed the first round. You get in the lineup. You're up 3-1. Pisani scores an OT game 5. Then you go to Edmonton, get your doors blown off, and you're going back to Carolina. For you, you must have been like, what's happening? Or was it more like, I'm just kind of going with this thing right now. Like, I'm lucky to be playing.
Yeah, well, there's a little bit of both. Like, I think at that age, you're like deer in the headlights, and which actually is helpful. Like, you're putting less pressure on the situation, which allows you just to show up and play without that level of weight on your shoulders. But that was a moment, like Roddy in particular spoke up after that game 6, and I think it's something that all of us would remember. And it was really kind of just like leveling out the group, saying, hey, like, we got one game at home to win the Stanley Cup. Like, if we would have had that opportunity at the start of the year, like, everybody in the room's putting their hands up saying, hey, like, we can take advantage of that moment. So I think when he did that, it kind of refocused us as we were going home and allowed us just to be like, hey, like, we just need to play our game, have the right level of detail with this group. And if we do that, we'll give ourselves a chance to win.
Do you remember the details of that game more than any other game you've ever played? Like, could you go through like how, like, the waves of the game?
It's fun. People like, I like cannot remember shit when it comes to like games. Like, some guys can, like Patrick Sharp would be able to like rip off like details of every aspect of the game. And I'm like, I can't even remember what games I played in. But the only thing I remember is like, that was the most nervous I've been the last 2 minutes of a game, or even like 30 seconds. Cause like we were up by 1, and then, so they're pulling the goalie, and then Willie ended up getting, Justin Williams ended up getting the empty netter. Like, just like, there was just a nod. Like, I've never been this nervous in my entire life to like get through the last minute of a game.
Yeah. Cause when you won in Philly, it's like, so, you're not holding on to a lead. It was just Kane or burying it.
That was a weird one too, eh? Because
man.
nobody knew. It was only Kane or celebrating, and I think everyone's like, whoa here.
Yeah.
And he knew.
He knew, man, right away. I was in front of the net. So I'm like the other guy in the picture, like, so,
Hey.
so I'm literally facing at the other end of the rink because I'm battling in front. And then the puck it went to, I guess, to my right at that time, but he just took off. So, but if I ever trusted anybody that sees a puck go in, I'm trusting that guy.
Absolutely.
And quickly back to the Carolina Cup, like the city of Edmonton, they had Dwayne Rollison rolling, and you were in the middle of that. You were in the middle of that collision, and Marc-Andre Bergeron. I think you bumped into him, and boom, Rollison, Liquid Dwayno was done for the series.
Oh no!
Yeah,
being too strong.
That was game 1. I was driving the net, and I don't have the best boots to begin with, so I was driving the net, and Marc-Andre Bergeron kind of came to like it pinched me off right at the net. And he hit me, and I lost it, and then went right into Dwayne. And that was the end of his series, unfortunately.
Were you getting like death threats and shit in Edmonton?
I don't know. We didn't really have like Twitter or anything at that time, right? So I wasn't. I was
because
you'll be getting
sure
some
they were
out
out
of this
there.
interview.
Get some now. Definitely
It was snail mail.
Yeah.
You must not have got the messages at the front desk of the hotel, eh?
Yeah. So, but they had Big George, so to say I wasn't nervous about Big George after there.
Come to think of it, I got 16 leaners on that trip. Turds floating right in the middle of my room. I was just gonna. Wasn't there another situation? Was it Kyprios who landed on Curtis Joseph, or what was the one? I think someone got landed on. Maybe it was Grant Fuhr. Insane.
Yeah, I mean, I can barely remember my games. I can't remember.
Yeah, like kind of like that, where like
we talked about that. I don't remember who that was.
I think it was Grant Fuhr in St. Louis.
Yeah,
somebody has the volume on. Sorry, does one of you guys have the volume on? Do you hear that?
I don't know what that is.
You could hear what we were saying, like a playback.
Oh,
maybe
I think
it was
that's
Ladder.
why Ladder had it.
Maybe he was watching the show live before he came on.
Yeah, something's going on. I can hear that too now. Well, we're gonna get him back.
Yeah, maybe G.
I'll pretend I'm him. Just ask me questions.
Okay. Hey, Ladder.
How heavy's the cup?
I think 36 pounds.
I was going to ask you, Ladder, how pickled did you get with the boys when you guys met up for Duncan Keith's Hall of Fame induction?
Oh my God, it was unbelievable. I hadn't seen those guys in probably like 7 years, and just to be in the same room with them, honoring Duncan Keith, like automatic first ballot Hall of Famer. The guy did everything, just put us on his back, honestly, most of the time. And he could skate, he could shoot, he was tough, just an all-around great guy and an unbelievable teammate as well.
Who had the stinkiest farts on the team when you guys won that cup?
Oh, for sure, Shawzy.
Oh, yeah.
He's a smelly fart.
I don't even know if he was on that cup team, but what about what about from 0 to 10, 0 being the most angry and 10 being the most happy when you were traded from Stanley Cup champion Blackhawks to the Atlanta Thrashers? Where what was your thought on that?
10 being the happiest?
Yeah.
Minus 74. I was just it was
Oh,
one of
you
those
didn't like
things.
Cheetahs or Magic City?
The wings at Magic City were really good. Me and who's the basketball player? Lou Williams, we were always hanging out there eating
nice.
wings, so that was fun. But other than that, yeah, it was like Chicago, and then you see the dynasty going on, and I'm just in Atlanta.
What was it like?
Wings.
What was it like playing with a young Jonathan Taves and more importantly Patty Kane? He was a bit of a wild man back then,
Dude. I mean, driving his Hummer up and down. What's the main
Michigan Ave, I think. Yeah.
It was unbelievable. It was so fun. Be hanging out of the roof, yelling at everyone. It was awesome. We had a blast, man. Such a good time. Completely different guys too, Kaner and Taves. Two different guys.
Oh, hey there, Ladder.
Who's that?
I think I'm back. You guys are doing great.
You guys actually do look alike.
I wish.
You do actually look
They look
we just got to
identical.
get a Chiclets lid on this guy.
Side by side. Yeah.
Well, one thing we didn't ask Keith Ladder is you were on the greatest World Junior team ever assembled. That's quite clear. I think it was Grand Forks, North Dakota.
Yes, sir.
Can you explain? I know maybe you said your memory isn't great. Like, did you have any idea at the time, like how many of those guys would be in the Hall of Fame? Like what you were kind of dealing with then? I know that's a crazy question, but it was, you crushed everyone.
Yeah, I mean, Liz, I was in junior B 2 years before that, so I was just happy to be there.
That's awesome.
But yeah, I think you knew there was something special, even like especially with like Sid there. They talked him up a lot. So I can't say that, hey, in the future we were like, oh, these guys are going to be Hall of Famers. But with the lockout and everything going on, like you knew that this was a pretty unique situation where we had a lot of guys that would have been in the NHL otherwise. So yeah, man, it was such a cool experience to be involved in that whole process and being so close to Winnipeg. A lot of their fans were driving up for games, and it was just like the most electric games that I had ever had up until that point. And every time like one of the coolest things about World Juniors is every time I've never seen people get so excited to score goals. It's like you score a goal in that tournament, like you're blowing the roof off, and it's the old jersey pull.
Yeah,
everyone loves that.
No doubt. And then that tournament had Malkin and Ovi too, like the double D on. That was against Russia, I think. But it was, we've talked a lot on this show, the Olympics and World Championships, all this stuff kind of World Juniors isn't the same without Russia, but you had that aspect of Sid and Ovi even before being in the NHL.
Yeah, and we were rinsing everybody in that tournament, so like it was nice to have like the last game. It was like they built it up. It was like especially Ovi and him and Sid. That was kind of the beginning of their first matchup against each other, and the whole just the history of Canada and Russia in general was fun. So yeah, we made short work of them, which was fun. We just had such a deep lineup that was just came at you in waves and played skill and physical. So it was a blast, man.
Was Sid even drafted at that point?
I don't know. He wasn't.
No, he was underage. Yeah. Biz, you're muted.
Yeah, I was one.
Yeah, you're muted, big dog.
Oh,
should we? Oh, he's back. He's back. I was going to try to interview Ladder, and Ladder could be Biz.
I can go back on mute. It'd be better for everyone. I was going to ask Whit, you talked about that team. How many of the people on that team will be Hall of Famers? And then at least how many of them have hit 1,000 games? Because Ladder, I just looked, you hit 1,001. That's huge.
Oh, wow.
That's amazing.
that was a grind to get to 1,000, and I was like, oh shit, I got to play one more because they're doing the ceremony. So
and guess who he played it for?
The Yotes, baby.
Coyotes. Ow, ow, ow.
Yeah.
I'm looking right now. So you got.
I mean, everyone played in the NHL from that team pretty much, except for like
Getzlaf.
Was Steven Dixon on that team?
He was on. Yeah, he was on that team. I think our fourth line was him, Clark MacArthur, and Colin Fraser.
Did he end up getting an NHL game, Steven Dixon? He might be the only guy.
He must have played a game.
Yeah,
maybe not.
I hope he's a Hall of Famer off the ice. I'll tell you that. He never got a game.
Never got a game? Are you fucking kidding
me?
Give
him a game.
That's bullshit.
Wow.
That guy might still be playing.
He won a title. Crazy. He won a title in Finland with Tampere, and then he won a title with he won a title in Cardiff.
Yes. That's with the Devils. Okay. So Ladder, he just retired. I think he was a player coach his last couple of years in the EIHL, but this guy was one of a kind. And
you need a gesture.
What's that?
Every team needs a gesture. That's why they won.
Oh yeah, no, he's one of a kind. You got to meet him at that dinner we did in Halifax.
I played with him.
Oh, yeah, he was in Pitt, right?
Yeah, I was in Wilkes-Barre with him.
I forgot. Oh yeah, I forgot.
I mean, dude, I got to watch him shave his chest so it just lined up with his V-neck. Like the guy's a wizard.
A wizard.
I love him.
He was ahead of his time.
One of the hairiest humans I've ever.
So that's crazy. So you were Junior B 2 years before that World Junior. The year after the World Junior, you win the Stanley Cup. Like just a late bloomer in the game.
Yeah, man. I always tell a story. Like I played Bantam B, and then I got cut from the A team, and then next year I made the A team, and then just kind of kept working my way up. So I played Junior B. I tried out for the Vancouver Giants when I was 16. I got cut, and then they listed me. So I actually played a game for the Vancouver Giants their inaugural year, and I played one game. So at that time, you lost your eligibility, right? So you couldn't go. You'd have to go redshirt. But I was young and like, I mean, if I'm gonna play one game this year, that means they want me for next year.
Nope.
Sure shit. I went to camp, got cut again. See you later. And then I went back, played Junior A and with the Coquitlam Express, and then my rights got traded halfway through that year to the Calgary Hitmen. So I got traded for Colt Norris' brother actually. So he went back to Vancouver, and then I went and tried out for the Hitmen because my cousin played there. You guys love this. I was thinking about redshirting with Bemidji State at that point. So then I chose not to. I tried to play with my cousin one more year, tried out for the Vancouver Giants the Calgary Hitmen. And then that year I got drafted 4th overall.
I was just holy shit.
You led your
that's
team.
crazy.
You led the Hitmen your first year in points with Ryan Getzlaf on the team too. Like that's pretty impressive to do.
Well, I think Getzy had about half the games, but
yeah, he did. You're right.
But yeah, it was a good year, and it was nice to play. Like obviously, get to play with Getzy.
Did you have a moment at the draft, like after it happened? Like, dude, I was cut 2 years ago. I was thinking about going to college. I'm playing hockey for a year. I just went 4th overall. It must have hit you like a ton of bricks.
It was like so surreal. But everything happened so fast. So it was almost like I didn't have time to think about it because I literally like drafted 4th overall, World Juniors next December, and then the following year I won a Stanley Cup. So it was like in 3 years I went from this to that, and like I didn't have a chance to be like, oh wow. Like after I won, I was like, holy shit, like I'm playing in the NHL now.
You still would have been a sophomore at Bemidji State.
Yeah, exactly.
Getting bag skated every day.
Fuck that.
That is a crazy rip in your first 2 years. Like that. Wow. And then I actually got to play with Getzlaf at under 18, and that was the first time that I'd ever watched him. He was MVP of that tournament. So obviously, like, had you ever gotten to play in a situation where you were first line, like probably power play, and playing with a guy of that stature?
I mean, I never played with someone as skilled as him, and like his hockey IQ, he was a total package, man, right? I think his ability to be physical, his skill game, and how he thought the game was unique. So it was fun to like just watch him evolve. It was funny. People used to give him shit all the time in junior because he looks like he's not moving sometimes, right? He's just
But
like,
he flew when he wanted to.
Yeah. And even like at that age, like his one-timer, man, like it was funny because in the NHL he was known probably more for his playmaking ability, but like that dude could like rip a one-timer. It was one of the best that I've been around. And he used that a lot more in junior. So anytime you're playing with players of that caliber, I think they start to rub off on you in terms of like how are they making plays, what are they doing, how are they getting open, and even just how he worked on his game. So I was fortunate enough to play and get to spend that much time with Getsy.
What a specimen. And I think he went like 17th, maybe 20th overall that year. That's how good that 03 draft was. I was shocked when he went 19th, which I was like, what? This guy's like, what, 6'3", 6'4" stallion.
Yeah, but I bet there were some people like, oh, he's lazy because of how he looked. I'm guessing. Like, he would fight and hit, and yeah, in terms of his shot in Anaheim, Randy Carlyle would be like screaming at him, shoot the puck more, because it was that good. But he just loved giving guys tap-ins.
That's the kind of guy he is.
Oh yeah, he was. That draft was. I mean, I think Perez went that round. Like,
yeah, he went a couple picks before him or after. Maybe he was 24th. I think, they got both those guys in the first round, maybe even later, maybe like 28th or something.
Perry went 28.
Yeah, 28.
Jesus.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, that whole draft was just.
It was stupid. It was stupid. But speaking of playing with like elite, Hall of Fame talent, you go to Chicago, and I know recently you guys just had Duncan Keith's Hall of Fame induction. You were there, right?
I was, yeah. I went, which was great.
That must have been so good to catch up with all those guys.
His speech was so good.
His speech, yeah. I was like, anytime you hear Dunk speak, it was like he can do it, but there was a level of intention with that speech. So I was wondering how it was going to be, but it was fantastic, man. I was proud of him for how he spoke and just pulled everything together. But that's such a. Have you guys been?
No, I've been to the Hall of Fame to like see
it.
It's younger.
It's a pretty awesome experience, man. Like just the legends of hockey that are in the same room, and you have GMs and former players, and get a bunch of the Sharks were there for Jumbo, and Bergie was there for Chara, and so it was such an awesome experience just to be around that many people who've had that big of an impact on the game, and to see how reflective. I'm sure you guys saw the speeches, but the impact that not only they've had on hockey, but the community has had on them was fun to see come through.
The thing that I took about the biggest thing I took from that is like the way he spoke about like what Chicago meant to you guys when you were playing there, like it was a fucking family. Like you guys came to the rink every day, and that was your guys' happy place. That's at least how it seemed.
Yeah, like it was unique from the standpoint of like we were all really young. Like I got there, I think I was 2.5 years in my career and felt like an older guy, like someone who could speak up, and obviously had the Stanley Cup experience. But we really did have like a young group that grew up together, and we always say like, oh, we were like brothers. But what I mean by that is like we would say whatever to each other. Like there was you weren't worried about whether the guy was going to like you or like be mad at you. Like we pushed each other in that way where we just like fight almost sometimes the blows in practice. But the next day you're like, oh yeah, like I know these guys love me, and like, let's get back to work, pushing each other. So it was such a fantastic culture there at that time. And then Dunks was just such a massive part of that, like undercover, cause he's pretty quiet, but like his intensity, like I compare him like to Rod Brindamore in terms of like his intensity and how he approached the game and how he worked at it. It was at that level.
That trade from Carolina to Chicago, it was Tomo Ruutu, who I kind of grew up playing against international stuff.
Yeah.
For you, it was a 1-for-1, and it was kind of a crazy trade at the time. I'm guessing for yourself, it was like, all right, I won a Stanley Cup here, but then you missed the playoffs, and so that may be disappointing to get dealt. But you look like, oh my god, this team's going to be a wagon. So like, was it almost bittersweet?
Yeah, I was blindsided. Honestly, like just because I was in my head, I think I was like, hey, we have an older group, an older team. Like I'm one of the few young guys. I think it was like me, Eric Stahl, and Wardo. Everybody else was they were pretty veteran players. So I think I had in my head, I'm like, oh, I'm going to be here for a while. And I bought a house. Great time to buy the house in 2008, by the way. Yeah, bought a house, was getting settled, and then 6 months later, 4 months later, whatever it is, you getting shipped off at the deadline. So it was definitely a surprise, and I was shook by it. And I saw Jimmy Rutherford. I guess it was a few days ago at an event in Vancouver for a foundation. So I was giving him the gears a little bit about trading me, but he's like, it worked out for you, and it did, because I went to Chicago, and one of the fun things about Chicago was I knew a lot of guys there, a lot of Western Canadian guys that even if I didn't know them personally, I had some sort of connection to them. And I mean, me, Brent Seabrook, Colin Fraser, and Troy Brower, they were all part of that organization. We played together when we were 10 years old. We all played at the Brick together. So there was a level of comfort there of going in and knowing those guys that made that transition really easy.
It's wild to look at that Blackhawks team, because I'm kind of going through it right now. You got traded halfway through Kaner's rookie year. You guys don't make the playoffs. First year making the playoffs, his second year. Did you guys lose in the conference finals to Detroit? Or was it this?
Yeah, we lost to Detroit in conference finals.
But from no playoffs and Kane's rookie year, he explodes on to the next year, you're in the mix. And then the third year for him, you guys win it all. So after that Detroit loss, they lose to Pittsburgh. You must have been, the entire team must have been dude, we're getting one of these. We're there really quick.
And then you guys add Hossa, right?
Yeah, we essentially swapped Hossa for Havlat. So Marty was there, and he was Marty was exceptional too. He actually got in the series with Detroit, got Cronwald, and that was
I remember that hit along the where the benches are.
Yeah, along the boards, and that was a big hit for us, because obviously he was a guy who could provide some offense and have an impact. So that was kind of the swap that summer. And then I actually think the biggest factor for that group was Joel Quenneville coming in. And he came in really early on in the season the next year. And you're seeing it right now with the Ducks, right? His ability to create structure and come in and lead from a standpoint of these are the non-negotiables. This is what we do day in, day out. This is how we practice. Was such a massive influence on a young group, and kind of started to pull Kaner and Taser and the rest of the group into this is the way we want to play, and this is the way we want to show up day in, day out as a pro.
Where was Q before that?
What's that?
Where was Q before that?
I think he was consulting with Colorado, maybe.
So kind of, yeah.
So he was on the outskirts, and it was an interesting thing because they hired him as a consultant, and then Savvy was the coach. So there was an interesting dynamic.
That's a bad sign if you're the head coach.
Not a good. And I love Savvy, and he was great for that group as they came in, because he gave the young guys the freedom and the confidence to play that the way that their potential would inevitably allow them to play. So having Savvy early on, blowing smoke in your face in the office was definitely a massive value for that group. And then it was time for the next step, which was Q coming in and having an experienced NHL coach who had done it before.
Were you there for that famous story about when Q was late to give the pregame speech? It was during the Preakness or whatever. You tell the story.
Oh yeah.
Yeah. So we were in Vancouver, and he wasn't late. We were just coming, guys were getting to the rink, I think probably 2.5 hours before, and he was fucking running through the room, losing his mind. We're what is going on right now? And anybody, if you know Q,
punching guys.
Yeah. You see clips of him, guys coming off the ice. His saying was nobody loves winning more than I do. And so he's fist pumping up and down and running around, and he had just hit the trifecta for the Preakness. So I can't even remember how much money he won, but it was hundreds of thousands, I guess, maybe. I don't know. It was a lot of money.
Oh
yeah. Him and Edzo. So Edzo told me a story. I asked Edzo, I said, what's the most you ever won on a horse bet? I think Edzo won over 500 grand a couple times. And this has to do with picking. I think you picked 10 races in a row where you could put a low amount on it, but you got to pick. I think they have to finish first and second, but regardless, I don't know the betting world. So he had won the first 9, and then it was the last one that was coming up, and he called Q, and Q picked up on one ring. He goes, "What do you got?" So he told me the story. We were in Vegas at a dinner table, like right before the season kicked off. And these guys just love the horse betting. Like they are fucking locked. When they're not watching game tape, they're watching horse racing.
Yeah.
OTB.
Yeah. Q is like, he was great, man. Like that was when in Chicago, we used to have like the Vegas trip because we have the big.
He loves
trip.
Vegas.
And he was like, it was fat. It was so funny because we were in the group, like we had a young group, no one even knows. And he comes in one day, he's like, boys, we did it. We're like, we did what? He's like, we're going to Vegas. So he set up, we had a Western Canadian road swing.
Before they had a team, Biz.
Yeah. We had a Western Canadian road swing and he worked in, he's like, yeah, we got a trip or a side trip to Vegas worked out. So I think we went to maybe like, I think we actually went to San Jose over to Vegas, spent a couple days there during the like Super Bowl. And then like at that point we were a wagon. So the best thing that ever happened was we ripped off 8 in a row after that.
Oh yeah.
And that set the next 5 years up for the Vegas trip. So it was awesome.
That is unreal. Just going back to kind of what you said, like him touching all the right buttons. So he came in that first year right from training camp, like it was an off-season move.
Yeah, he came in as a consultant in the off season. And then, so he was there through training camp, and I think it happened pretty quick. I want to say it was like 4 games in, they pulled the trigger.
And they were probably like, if they lose 2 games in a row, like that's it.
Like what were the first things when he came in the locker room that you said? I know you said that he kind of instilled, these are my non-negotiables, but like, was he like, you know, if guys weren't falling in line right away, would he call guys out? Like, how would that dynamic work?
Yeah, the first thing he did was like, hey, we're gonna like set the vision. I would say it was like, hey, we're gonna win a Stanley Cup here, and that had not been said yet, right? Like before, it was just like, hey, show up and work hard and develop these kids. And he was like, no, like we have a clear idea of like where we want to go. That's the first thing I remember. And then it was like the commitment to that. So his non-negotiables are funny, right? Like no one-touch passes in your own zone. Like he would, yeah. As a D-man going back, you can't bat a puck out of the air. Like he would lose his shit.
You can't one-touch it in the D zone?
No, never.
Like if a D goes to forward in the middle or center, and he knows that guy's on the wall, he can't quickly bump it. He's got to catch it and then move it.
Yeah.
That was like my favorite play. D to D, one touch to the middle.
Wow.
Yeah. No, I mean, if it worked out, you'd probably be all right. But if it didn't work out, then you were hearing about it. And then like he was a stickler for having a good stick. So he would like always wanted good stick positioning. And so from that standpoint, I think the details of like winning and checking, he elevated our team to another level, which ended up being a big reason why we ended up winning.
Stuthers was big on that, where when we would do video sessions, he would show all the times where they would make a seam pass or any pass that would go through, and it was visible that all the guy had to do was have his stick a little farther in that lane to break up that play. And then like as the season wore on, like he'd be showing the examples of like, here, look at this play broken off now, because guys would start getting it more and more. It was like one of the fundamentals for a system that he would beat in us nonstop, and it fucking worked.
Oh yeah, it's a massive part of the game is like having a good stick. And I mean, as defenders, you guys would know Witt and Jans. But the other thing you guys love this is D-man too. You're not allowed to take a snapshot from the point. Always had to be a slap shot.
Really?
Everything. Yeah.
I had a muffin though. I would have never I would have played 1 game for Q and been on waivers. That have been it.
Hey, how about when he would do that drill? It was like offensive zone, neutral zone, defensive zone. The coaches would be trying to stick on puck. He would go so hard because he always say, "I got the best stick in the game," and he would go so hard. He'd be dead. It was a warm up drill. It was right when practice started. It was unbelievable.
Oh yeah, and he loved like a hard pass too.
Oh,
so he'd sit on the boards and be like crispy, just from tape to tape, and like, oh man. I remember one time you do that drill where you just kind of pop out and you come across the far blue and then you get a pass, a stretch pass on the other end. So we were just being donkeys about it. So guys would like take full slap shots at each other, like try to on the ice, try to just pass it as hard as you can and then pick it up. And then I think Steger might have ripped one at Sharpie, and it might have been the other way around, and it skipped and just right off the ankle, and he went down, and Q lost his shit, but a lot of fun stuff like that.
Of that team, like the legends that we've kind of mentioned, we have a couple white whales on this pod. We got Joe Thornton, and another one is Dustin motherfucking Bufflin.
Mhm.
And not only were you guys cup champs together, but then you were off to Atlanta together. So basically, I'm wondering whether it's on ice or off ice, when you hear Buff's name, like what's the first thing you think of?
I mean, I don't know if there's a word.
Or a moment, or just basically a description of that guy.
Yeah, I mean, that guy, you can put that guy in any room in the world, and he will have every one of those people. Like everybody loves Buff, like no matter what. He's the guy that can do dumb shit, and then everybody still loves him.
That's Buff. That's what they say.
Buff.
Yeah.
And by the way, he's told me, and I think he was like, you figure this out, but he said he would do a Sandbagger.
Wow, I mean, thought we'd only get him for a fishing. Just thought we could get him for fishing.
What I want to do is we should bring all you guys down to Florida when everyone plans on being there and do a fishing excursion because he loves to fish, right? Like he's a massive fisherman.
Yeah, but then the cat might be out of the bag because I think he actually sucks at fishing.
That's fighting words.
We'll fill the boat with fish,
beers, right?
Yeah.
We'll stock the pond.
Yeah. No, we imagine that in a sense. Who would be the third? If you two, who would be the third?
Oh, I mean, Wheels is a stick. Eags would be good. Sharpie's a stick. Have you guys done one with Sharpie?
No, he's too good looking. We don't need him on camera next to us.
Siebes is a good golfer.
We should do a Hawks reunion tournament, like I talked about at the beginning of the pod, where you have 4 teams of 3. I mean, with all these guys, Dunks would do it. Dunks, he came on the pod. He was one of our big dogs we got.
Dunk sucks. He's not a golfer.
Perfect. That's good for us.
Yeah, that's fine.
Yeah, I got to see him be bad at something. Good.
Yeah. Well, yeah. So, yeah. Well, we'd be down for sure.
What's your favorite Buff story?
Oh man, I got lots. I think was Steger on when he told you the rollerblading story? I think I may have heard that with you guys.
You can tell it again.
So
tell it again.
Yeah. So he was out with like an ankle injury, and we're in Chicago, and he lived not far from the bar. So he left his truck at the bar and didn't want to drink, but like brought his rollerblades. So, it's whatever time in the morning, 3:00 in the morning, and he's like rollerblading down the street in Chicago back to his condo or apartment, wherever he was going, and he gets pulled over by the cops, like in Chicago, and they're like, "What's this? 280 pound black guy doing that rollerblading down the road in Chicago at this time in the morning?" And so he same thing, right? They're like, "What's going on?" And he, of course, like makes instant friends with the cop. And I think they might ended up like they just let him go, and then off he goes on his rollerblading home.
They let him drive the cruiser home.
Yeah,
it's like super bad. They're shooting off their guns together.
He's hanging out of the back, and they're driving. And he's wheeling behind him.
Yeah.
Hey, imagine like waiting for the bus, and you just see Buff come in like full speed.
Side.
Oh man, there's a couple like he loves hunting and fishing. So we were in Winnipeg, and we used to just have house parties in Winnipeg. So we wouldn't go out to a bar. Numbnuts decides to bring a blow dart to the Halloween party. So I guess he's like, you kill squirrels with a blow dart, and like it's like these little things. So obviously, like people start having drinks and they're like getting loose, and then Buff, of course, hey, like let's start shooting people with the blow dart.
How long till you guys figured it out? Because he was probably doing it discreetly, where you'd be like, oh
yeah, dart in your neck.
Yeah, and I think at that point, but then other people got it. So he got James Wright like right in the finger. So James Wright was playing with us, and Ryder was like rattled, and Buff's sitting on the other side of the room just laughing his ass off. And then I think Blake Wheeler's wife got it, and she we were playing beer pong in the garage, and I was like I was around the corner. I went to walk around the corner, and she was trying to get Wheels from like inside the door. He was looking the other way. So as I walk around, she spears one like right in my groin, and I'm like,
what a team activity!
So that is all because Buff decided to bring a blow dart too.
Yeah, you got Patty Kane walking in with an eye patch the next day. It's like, what happened to our prized possession? Oh, I got a blow dart in the eye from Buff. Pretty I mean, that celebration in Chicago, I mean, Carolina's Carolina, but you must have been overwhelmed. What was there, 2 million people there?
Yeah, it was cool. Like having experience in Carolina, and obviously you just don't know at that time. I remember walking down the street in Carolina with a cup, like from one bar to another, and like no one, like I had a couple like, what's that? But for the most part, like had no problem walking it down the street. And then you get to Chicago, and we literally we had a party bus, and we just went around the city, and it was like a flash mob every time. So we'd take the cup into one place, and then all of a sudden you turn around and the whole place was just jammed. And the cup guy'd be losing it because you'd be walking out of the bar with it above your head, and he's like, I thought it was just like crowd surfing its way around there. So he was losing his mind. And then someone had the bright idea to actually bring it out onto the street, and then there was just again like flash mob, people everywhere. And then the cops shut that down. They said no bueno on that one. You guys
Buff rollerbladed with it, just carrying it down Michigan Ave.
Yeah.
All right. Hey, just thinking of that team, what a squad. But this leads me to Roback. Last question. Right now, the Roback website, all of it, entire thing is 20% off for all customers. There's no code needed. Just head to Roback, RHOBACK.com, and the entire website is 20% off. Incredible gear. All customers have that ability to do that through December 1st. So you got about a couple days left here. Act quick. Buff was a part of the disaster that was the non-qualifying offers. And I kind of just want to hear your recollection of like finding out what happened. I'm sure it was your agent or whatever happened, but like, what was your initial reaction to that going down?
Yeah, I think at the time, I don't think we really realized like what the like impact that would have moving forward. I think we were like, oh shit, they screwed up. They didn't tender these qualifying offers. And then my buddies got to sign 3-year deals at probably higher money than they normally would. And so that was kind of the first reaction. I think if you were talking to an agent, they would have been like, holy crap, that was a massive mistake at that time. But we were like, oh, at that time we're still together, and those guys are signed for another 3 years, and fantastic. And then as playoff, like after our run, it was pretty clear, pretty quick that like, first of all, those contracts had a massive impact on where the cap was going. And then Taser and Kaner both hit rookie bonuses that didn't help. I can't remember the exact number that they had, maybe $3 or $4 million in bonuses. So even in like my talks with, excuse me, in Stan Bowman at that time, it was like, hey, like we'd love to keep you, and you're gonna have to take a discount from like what you're making already. So you knew it was kind of coming. It was a weird moment. Like the first time I was blindsided because I had no idea it was coming. The second time it was like, okay, I know I'm going. Where am I going? And then most of us ended up going to Atlanta, which was kind of crazy.
Wow.
I never thought about the rookie bonuses because it's the next year. It's the next year it hits the cap. That's crazy.
Yeah.
Ladder, before we let you go though, I don't know if you had any more to say on that subject.
Which that one?
Oh,
Atlanta.
Yeah. No. I was going to ask you about, we got to get you on again, buddy. This was awesome. Like we could get you on once every couple months to shoot the shit about all these amazing stories. But one thing that when you reached out originally, you told me had going on was, and you touched on a little bit, was the www.1616.org. It's a nonprofit. So I just wanted you to be able to tell everybody at home what that's about and what you're doing.
Yeah, for sure. Thanks for that. So we started a program, I guess like towards the end of my career, and it was a proactive approach to mental well-being in hockey. So what we do is give kids tools at the 10 to 12-year-old age, so that when problems hit, they have more tools in their toolkit to navigate those problems. And we teach them, it's called the Buffalo mindset. And what makes Buffalo unique is that they're the only animal that when a storm hits, they don't run away from the storm. They actually band together and move towards it. And that's the mindset we want to teach kids in our game, is like, hey, challenges are inevitable. They're going to happen. And the more we press into them, the more we're going to learn, the more we're going to grow. And then the more we're going to set them up for success. So the program is set up for, we actually use player stories. So we have like a Patty Kane story, and he teaches a concept. And the concepts are either confidence, connection, or character. So his basically a story of his journey and how those concepts have had an impact on where he's gone in his career, and kids understanding that, hey, like it wasn't all butterflies and roses for Patty Kane. Like he had challenges so that they can relate to him. And then we have content for the parents to understand, hey, why is that concept important, and how do you reinforce it with the kids? And same for the coach. Why is this concept important? How do you reinforce it for the kids? And the best part is it's completely free. So you literally sign up as a team or individually. Right now, I think we have over 600 teams across North America in it. So thousands of kids, thousands of coaches, thousands of parents. And there's still, I think, 5 weeks left to sign up for the program. So yeah, that is it. I'm super proud of what we've created there. It's been amazing. It's definitely well needed, and we're working with the NHL, with Hockey Canada, and USA Hockey to figure out how we can even expand the enrollment and impact of what we're up to.
Ladder, I just clicked on the website. The website's awesome. Like the picture that hits you right away is pretty cool. Like I'd never heard of this. I'm excited to do something like this. That's really cool, man. Was that your idea?
Yeah. So essentially, like I was having a rough moment, and coming off 2 knee surgeries, and I was in Bridgeport, Connecticut, so back in the minors. And it was actually a weird year with like COVID. So remember when they had taxi squads, and it was like a shortened season. So they didn't want me with the NHL club, and they didn't want me on the taxi squad because I was making too much money. I guess they couldn't call me up anyways. So I was literally skating by myself every day.
Oh,
so I'd text Lou at like 10 at night, and I'd be like, hey Lou, what time can I skate tomorrow? And he'd, it's a little ... And he'd be like, oh, you come in at 2 p.m. tomorrow. So I'd go in and skate. And in that moment, I was working with a mental performance coach that actually the people that I work with now. And he was like, hey, like, what would you be proud of at the end of this year? And I was like, oh, okay. Like I've been thinking about doing this and having this impact on mental health, especially in our game. And that was kind of the start of it. So we did a marketplace assessment to see like, hey, is there anything out there currently that's already doing this kind of work that we could support? And there wasn't. So across all sports. So it was like, great. Okay. The next step is building that. So since then we've raised millions of dollars and created this program, which is like 2 10-week seasons that the kids go through. And our enrollment has doubled every year. So it's definitely needed. And as you guys know, you've had long careers, and there's many challenges and many moments over the course of your careers that you need help, and you need to learn how to handle different situations. And one mindset isn't going to be the fix for everyone.
And what's cool is that after that tough time for you, you ended up playing that season in the NHL. You got over 1,000 games. So it's like, it's pretty sick that you went through that moment and then came out, 2-time cup champ and the 1,000 game mark. So what a career, dude. I can't wait to catch up with you again. And everyone check that out, 1616.org. Ladder, have a great one, buddy.
Thanks, man. Yeah, I appreciate it. Thanks for having me on. And I'll say one more thing is in early December, we have a campaign coming up. It's like 16 days of giving. We're trying to get 1,616 donations of $16.16. So yeah, we'll be on the lookout for that and just progression going forward. So thank you again.
Thank you so much, Ladder, for joining us, buddy. We'll get you on again. That was awesome.
We'll promote those links for sure.
Appreciate it. Thanks, guys.
All right,
thanks, Ladder.
What a guy. What a guy.
I gotta take a bad hose, boys.
Go ahead. I got to do a couple ads here. Okay. Go ahead, bud.
I got to go too.
All right, just leave me alone. That's fine. I'm a loser. Leave me alone to talk about Pink Whitney. Everyone knows Pink Whitney, the drink of choice around holiday season. I often mention that it's the summertime we like to enjoy it, but now Thanksgiving. I mean, who wouldn't enjoy a nice big bottle of Pink Whitney for Thanksgiving with the turkey? Turkey and Pink Whitney go pretty well together. You wouldn't think it, but it's true. And also, if you're looking for stocking stuffers with Christmas coming up, Pink Whitney little shots, the big bottle, that could fill up the whole stocking so you don't have to get anything else. So take your shot with Pink Whitney. We talked about a lot of Pink Whitney at the Sandbagger, but shout out our amazing drink, Pink Whitney New Amsterdam vodka. And we got to talk about Aura Frames. Aura Frames keeps my family connected. My parents have one, even when we're miles apart, and that's why it's my favorite gift to give. That and Pink Whitney, that's Christmas right there. Aura Frames and Pink Whitney. You can share photos so easily on an incredible screen. It's awesome. It's easy to use, and it's very very valuable to family members who can share things wherever you are in the world. So with Aura Frames, you get unlimited free photos and video. Just download the Aura app and connect to your Wi-Fi. Preload photos before it ships. Keep adding from anywhere at any time. Share the photos and videos effortlessly. Geez, come on, what? Straight from your phone all year long. You can't wrap togetherness, but you can frame it with Aura Frames. For a limited time, visit auraframes.com. That's AURAFRAMES.com and get $45 off Aura's best-selling Carver Mat frames. Named #1 by Wirecutter. So you can use promo code Chiclets at checkout. That's AURAFrames.com. Promo code Chiclets. This exclusive Black Friday, Cyber Monday deal is their best of the year. So order now before it ends. Support the show by mentioning us at checkout. Chiclets. Terms and conditions apply. So thank you so much to Ladder. What a guy. We got Yance back. What a quick hose. Appreciate that. That's a good teammate. Biz is probably scrolling his phone, taking a dump. That's Biz. I don't know what he's doing, but what do you think Biz's opinion would be on these Seekers that were going after Connor McDavid? I can't believe this. There were people giving Bedard a hard time.
Connor Bedard. You said McDavid there to start. Connor Bedard.
He's always on my mind.
Bleeds
McDavid
blue,
wouldn't
baby.
even let
Bleeds
Seekers
blue.
that close to him. McDavid wouldn't even let Seekers that close to him.
Yeah, what have you seen the airport photo? Are you kidding me?
They weren't Seekers. They were fans. There's a big difference. That kind of leads me. There's a big difference between fans and Seekers. What, Keith?
Can we push this combo just a second? I got a little surprise for the boys. Little surprise. Maybe a 6'7" surprise.
How we doing?
Mason West, boys.
Mason West.
Mason West.
Wow.
State champ.
Holy shit, Mason. What's going on, dude?
How's it going? How you guys doing?
Oh, we're doing great. We I don't know if you were listening earlier. We were pumping your tires. What a cool story. Congrats on everything. Take us through. I first want to know the reactions you got from some teams when you told them, hey, listen, draft's coming up here. I'm playing football next year.
Yeah, you get a whole lot of different reactions, especially from Canadian teams. It's definitely weird, and I guess you're a little bit nervous kind of telling them that. But at the end of the day, that was kind of just my goal, and then that's what I was going to do. And they kind of knew that, and I was just trying to stay loyal to my teammates, but definitely a little bit, I guess, different, trying to tell them I'm going to play high school football for a year before playing hockey.
You have a Michigan State hat on right now. Did you commit to play hockey and or football there? You already committed to play hockey there?
Yeah, I played hockey there. Yeah, committed to play hockey.
Do you think that they would allow you to play hockey and football there?
Oh, yeah.
Biz wants
I
to
don't
see
know,
this
actually. Maybe if they need like a scout player or something like that.
We're decommitting if this ain't happening. We're in this together now, buddy. I said that there was going to be a guy who played in the NFL and the NHL at a certain point on this planet. Do you think that you could achieve that, and or do you want to achieve that?
That would be fun. That would be a lot, but I'd definitely be like up for it, but I don't know if they would be.
When did you know that you kind of wanted, because everything I've read, there's a lot of football interest, right? But you've decided, listen, I'm going to be full hockey after this season. What age were you when that happened? And I'm guessing you played football since Pop Warner, right? This has just been your life, always balancing both.
Yeah, I've just played football since I was in like second grade and played with these guys since second grade. So that's another reason why it was important for me to come back and play another year. But I think it just right after I got back from the USHL and kind of playing in that league. And I guess like in the summer, like what sport I missed the most. And that was hockey. And then I'd always just shoot pucks. And that's kind of the thing for me is I just love playing hockey, and it just felt natural every time I'm on the ice. So that was kind of the big thing for me is just love of the game. And yeah.
Now, is your family more of a football family or a hockey family?
It's funny. They're actually a basketball family. My dad was a Division I basketball player at Eastern Illinois.
Get him hoop too.
Yeah, a little bit. Yeah.
You should play against RA. RA, you ever see him shoot a basketball?
No, is he pretty good?
No,
he's sick. Cute. Yeah, it's like John Stockton-esque. His passes, he shoots like Jordan. It's incredible. It's incredible. How much skating were you doing this fall? Like, if at all?
Yeah, I try to get on the ice like two or three times a week. I'd like to stay fresh, but also it's kind of nice to get off the ice to just feel fresh on the ice and polished up for kind of when I go. But yeah, I try to get on the ice a fair amount.
Were you always a quarterback from an early age in football?
I was, yeah. We had to play like 2 or 3 positions, so I played some D end here or there, maybe some safety, but yeah, mostly quarterback throughout my whole youth.
So does that, like, obviously as a quarterback, especially in today's football, you're probably sustaining the least amount of blows compared to the other positions. Did that become a factor in being a two-sport athlete? And were you nervous about the risk of injury compared to like maybe your likelihood of playing in the NHL compared to the NFL?
Yeah, I mean, obviously, there's definitely like a risk playing quarterback. I mean, things can happen. If your O line kind of gives down a little bit, and maybe some big D linemen are kind of coming after you. But I mean, I've never really been injured in my football career. I mean, which is kind of super nice. But I think kind of just being an athlete, I just try to be athletic out there and kind of try to bring that scanning sense from a quarterback to the hockey ice. So I think there's obviously risks of being injured, but kind of just more having fun and stuff like that.
You're obviously like a tremendous athlete, right? And I'm kind of surprised 6'7", you got the fall sport, you got the winter sport. Was there ever like baseball involved? Because I could see you throwing absolute gas.
I did. I played baseball until 9th grade. It hurt my arm a little bit, so I had to kind of give it up, but I was a pitcher, and yeah, I loved baseball. I kind of played those 3.
Who is the goalie that had 6 touchdowns in this game? Like goalie, running back, is that like a normal thing there?
No.
It is. He's a stud. His name's Chase Bjorgard, and he also plays baseball too, which is his best sport, which is pretty crazy. Yeah. Yeah.
Now, you mentioned that you had played with these kids since you were in 2nd grade. Is that like, we saw the relief of after when you won that championship? Is that like something almost like where you think of football in Texas or wherever, where you like, when we were growing up, all we talked about was winning a state championship, and you did it with your boys. Like, it must have been so fulfilling.
Yeah, it was the craziest feeling. I mean, knowing these guys since around like 1st or 2nd grade, like I said, it's just like, it's special, and it's something you'll like remember for like the rest of your life too. And kind of just seeing like, I mean, if you watch it back, you can see everyone's like emotions too. Like everyone's emotions is kind of coming out, and I think it was just super cool to be able to do something special with this group. I mean, it's cool that our school hasn't really won a state championship since like 1960s or even ever. So it's kind of cool to get that first one and kind of build down a football culture a little bit.
Is there anything about the team or locker room dynamic in football that taught you something that you brought to hockey? Like, is there like, what sort of differences did football provide you from like a learning experience, maybe where hockey didn't?
Yeah, for sure. I think just like having command of like an offense. I think being a quarterback, you have to have like full command, and that takes a lot of leadership too. I think, which I'm a captain in football and hockey, but I think my leadership role kind of took a big step, and kind of having that full command of offense allows you to really be more of a vocal leader when you get in the hockey locker room, because it's a little bit more of a smaller group, but you can kind of, your voice can be louder maybe than it is on a football field. And so I think that's kind of the biggest thing for me, is just the leadership role, and kind of having full command of the offense and what we're doing, and try to bring that on the hockey ice.
You're an inspiration in a sense to parents and kids alike who have been told over and over, you can't play other sports. You gotta, hey, you're 11 years old, you're a good hockey player. We're going hockey 365 days a year. How many different people told you, and like, did you deal with people like, hey, you got to stop, man. You got to just focus on hockey or focus on football? Like, was that something you were dealing with from certain people? And were your parents a big part of like, no, like, keep doing what you love, do it all?
Yeah, for sure. I mean, obviously, like at the draft, kind of saying I was going to play football, there was a lot of people like skeptical, whether it was like teams or fans or kind of just people around it were skeptical of injuries and kind of like, why is he playing football? But I think my parents kind of helped me with that. And there's guys before that used to do that, I guess, like as Anders Lee, he played his senior year of high school. So that was kind of a big like influence for me, and kind of seeing him do it means kind of made me think that I could do it too. And so I think that was the biggest thing for me, is kind of let those people talk or whatever, and I'm just going to do what I want to do, and kind of just have fun and keep being a kid.
I mean, it goes back to what you were harping about at the beginning of the podcast about like encouraging Minnesota and the way that they handle their minor sports. I feel like this should be more normalized.
Yeah.
Yeah, no, for sure. I think it brings more like fun too. It's just like a lot of fun being with like your buddies. I mean, like you'll look back at these times and like miss them a lot. I mean, I already missed the game and missed the whole season and missed practicing with the guys. It's nice when you have a really good group. We had a really great group at Edina, but I think it's important just to have fun. Like that's the biggest thing for me is that's why I chose hockey is because I love it and I want to just keep having fun playing it. So I think that's like the biggest thing is just keep having fun, keep playing with your buddies and just try to do something special and keep going with it.
Whit also listed off like how you guys got to the championship game where you guys had come from behind 4 different times in the fourth quarter. So as an athlete, like how fun was the rush of just experiencing that run?
Yeah, the adrenaline rush was pretty crazy through all those games. There was a lot that went through all those games too. I think if you watched our season, we went like 4-4 in the regular season. We weren't really supposed to be in the championship, but we didn't really take notice of that. We kind of just wanted to prove everyone wrong, and we had a big poster in our locker room that said "Prove everyone wrong." We had all like the articles that were ranking us low and stuff like that. So I think we really took that into consideration, and every day in practice we worked for that, and we were just really hungry to win. I think in every playoff game we kind of went through the gauntlet a little bit. We played a lot of great teams, and I think once we realized that we kind of beat those good teams, that way, hey, like we're here and we're ready to go, and we're not really scared or backing down from anyone.
The article I read in the Athletic about like this year's journey, your coach, the number one thing he talked about with you is how coachable you were, which is such a talent that probably doesn't get mentioned along with like physical talents. Was that something from a young age? You know, your dad, I'm guessing, was a big part of your sports life with being a basketball player. Did he always kind of get through to you how you got to listen to coaches, you got to be willing to learn new things?
For sure. Yeah, I think like no one really knows it all. I think you really have to take in all the information you can. I mean, I think for me, like going into the draft, I took in all the information. I was kind of just a sponge out there, kind of listening to everybody and listening at the combine to all the teams and kind of what they think I needed to work on. I was just trying to stuff like that. I think just you have to be really coachable and be willing to get better every single day. That's kind of the whole thing of development. And that's kind of my whole thing is I just want to get better every single day and kind of just take in every information that I can.
Not a lot of high school kids that are already drafted in the NHL, I would imagine, are very coachable. So props to you on that. That's amazing. Shows what such a good kid you are. But
thank you.
So now you're going to be going to play for Fargo, right? In the USHL. So when does that start up and when do you get going?
Yeah, I head down there in around a week or two to start it up, and then I'll probably work out here this week and next week just to get my body polished up and ready to go. But yeah, I'm pumped up.
How are they doing so far this year?
They're doing good, really good. Yeah, I think they're around like maybe 11-7 or something like that. They're doing good though. Yeah.
Does your true passion lie with hockey though? Like would you rather make the NHL above anything else?
100%. Yeah, totally. I think I really realized that when I got drafted it's a dream come true. And especially with the Blackhawks, like that was the team I've loved since second grade. And
really?
So I think that's, yeah, I love the Blackhawks. I had Blackhawks posters all over my room with Patrick Kane and stuff like that. So I think that's kind of cool that I got that opportunity and stuff.
Did you tell Kyle Davidson that in your meeting?
I did. I actually did. Yeah, they were laughing about that.
No
yeah, and then he told the Ducks, I had Getzlaf posters. I love the Ducks. And he told the Red Wings.
Oh, that is awesome. I mean, you must be pretty fired up too. Like you're coming up here. Like I feel like in 3-4 years, they're going to be the team competing for it. And it's funny that we get you on. Like, great job, Jans, bringing in an unreal surprise guest. That was awesome. Some help from G. But we just had Andrew Ladd, who was there that first time that they won the cup of the first of the three there with Chicago. So very eerie similarities going on here, boys.
Yeah.
Not to mention your school you're going to after this season, Michigan State, is far and away the best team in college hockey. So how did you come to that decision? I'm guessing you went and looked at Minnesota, but what was the final decision like for your commitment?
Yeah, first of all, I mean, I really never got recruited from Minnesota. They never reached out or anything.
Oh, no.
Michigan State was the first team to offer me, and I just love their coaching staff and how they develop players. I like to look at the guys like Charlie Stramo, how he kind of skyrocketed when he went there, and how good they developed him. So I kind of try to compare myself to him a little bit. But I think it's kind of a feeling thing. When you go to 2 campuses or 3 campuses, you can kind of feel it out a little bit. And kind of once I was on Michigan State, you really felt it out and felt kind of they were ready to develop me as a player and as a person. So I really took that into consideration and admired that.
Davenport University never sent you a letter?
No, they didn't. No. Yeah.
Team
No.
folded after you left, Biz. Is there any way you could go right to Michigan State right now or no?
I don't know. I'm graduating first semester, like with all my credits, but also graduating the spring. But there might be there probably would be a possibility, but yeah, I don't really know.
So what's sick is you. Oh, I was going to say what's sick is you won it. You won the football. You're graduating. So the rest of this season, it's just like, all right, now I get to try to win a USHL championship. Kind of done with school. So you're just. If you tell me you're a 4.0 student, I'm going to pass out.
I was just going to ask that.
I'm not. No, not even close.
He's human.
Yeah.
He's human.
Can't be perfect at everything.
4.2.
Mason West, buddy, you are mature beyond your years. So happy, and like we said before you were on, like sticking to two sports and just with your town, with your friends. It's a great story, dude. So congratulations.
This guy's 30 years old. Look how deep his voice is, but he's got a fake birth certificate and everything going on here. He's got a family of 3. Going to Michigan State.
His host.
I threw 97 too, but my arm hurt a little bit. So yeah, hockey it is.
Hit 98 home runs.
What a legend. What a pop in this
dude.
was. Hey, congrats with everything, buddy. And I'm looking forward to following the rest of your journey.
Thank you. Thank you, guys. Appreciate you guys for having me on.
Good luck in Fargo, buddy.
Thank you. Appreciate it.
What a guest.
What a legend. I love him.
Great work. Great work. You know what? He's so friggin' nice. He actually might hang out with like Seekers and sign all their stuff and let them sell it for all the money, I think getting to the NHL and see these Seekers, and it leads us back to the story of Bedard. There were people chirping. I'm like, I don't know if the public understands, and we've talked about on Chiclets before, these Seekers are the lowest of the low, scumbag, dirtbag, and it's Thanksgiving, but Seekers can take an absolute hike, and they sell everything. This is not kids going up. This is not a guy like, hey, can you please sign it for me? I'm a diehard Blackhawks fan. This is a guy that's bothering him nonstop. And, I actually wouldn't even have been mad at Bedard if he suckered the guy. He just didn't sign it. He scribbled. Like, you could have straight up suckered him and you're still getting cheers from NHL players. They stink.
So first of all, being around Wayne, you see how ridiculous it is. I've seen people outside the hotel run all the way beside our car to the studio trying to get him to sign stuff. And Connor Bedard, we've talked about how since he's came on the scene, man, the internet and the amplification of everything has made everything even worse, where I can't even imagine how much this guy's getting hounded for his autograph. Okay. Cool. Whit, I'll throw it back over to you quickly as we continue to break this down, but you dealt with one of the people you're describing. I'm not going to say they're all like that. I agree with you. Most, if not all, these guys, especially when they're handing you the blue Sharpie, they're selling this stuff. Some people are very polite. They'll only ask you to do a few. And
those aren't Seekers.
No, but I'm saying they're still Seekers in the sense if they are going to sell it, I have no problem signing, but I'm nowhere even near. And same with you, nowhere near a Bedard or a Wayne Gretzky or a Connor McDavid, where they probably should have full-time security around them for these types of situations. But when we were at Chiclets Cup a few years ago, I want you to describe how some of them are. The guy who had the baseballs.
Oh, they're aggressive.
Do you remember that?
No.
We talked about it on this pod where the guy had all the base. He had not only a bunch of cards for you to sign, but all of a sudden.
Oh, yeah. Dude.
And you're like, all right, buddy, I signed a few of them are done. And he kept saying, no, finish them off. And he kept following you to the point where you were like almost laughing, like, buddy, I've said no to you 10 times. I'm not signing these fucking baseballs.
And I like how you said, I'm like you, where were we just at? And a guy came up and he had a book. They always have the book and they have 10 of your cards. And I signed them all. Like, I don't care because
I sign all of them usually.
You're going to get 3 cents if you try to sell mine. But Crosby and Bedard and Gretzky and McDavid and the best of the best, it's worth a lot of money. And so when these guys understand, like, listen, this is not some kid. Like, I'm putting money in your pocket. All you're doing is signing this. Get away from me. And I've also seen you. I saw you when we arrived in the city. They're waiting at 3 a.m. when you get to the hotel. Like what I saw Crosby deal with. And for a guy who's been one of the most consummate, is that the word, professionals in the history of hockey.
No blemishes.
Even Crosby's like, get away from me. So like Bedard, and I think with Bedard's past and like being this super prospect, he's been probably dealing with this since first year junior, second year junior, and he's realized like enough, I'm not doing it. But that guy in Buffalo, like they don't take no for an answer either. And you could see that in the video. They will not stop. So you have to stick to your guns. Get away from me, bro.
Buddy,
I
how about
signed for you already.
How about the fact that he put the video on thinking Bedard's probably going to be like, fuck, he's going to post this to bait him into signing it. So first of all, that's fucking bullshit. And if you want to say, oh, Bedard's this fucking, prima donna who doesn't want to sign, there's a zillion stories coming out online of where like a girl was on like a higher concourse where he like went and walked up and signed something for a girl, where he'll come out before warm up. And if there's a couple kids in the rink early, he'll make sure he gets that autograph signed for the people who are already in the stand. So all of like, I would say it's a strong majority of people are on Connor Bedard's side, but there's obviously the 10% that are pretty much the type of people who are okay with the entitlement that these people who are bringing 10, 15 things for you to sign in which they're going to go sell. So it's a ridiculous thing that I'm sure most of you who are listening understand what seekers are and how they operate. I don't think that they're all bad people. I think that the excitement that they feel and how crazy they get knowing if I get Bedard's autograph here, that's probably $1,500, maybe $2,000 in my pocket, where it's almost like Bissonnette, I'm getting $5 on eBay. Right. Yeah. Well, so that's why they get so fucking crazy and weird and creepy. And even I was talking to Jeff Jacobson about this, CM Punk, who I feel like people have gotten worse over time, where that entitlement has grown and they get so fucking freakish and weird, where now he's like, when I first started out, it wasn't like this. Now people are going into the lobby of hotels and coming up to them as they're grabbing a coffee, where they're supposed to be in their like private space. So CM Punk literally now he says, no, I'm not signing anyone's. I've made that promise to myself. I'm not fucking dealing with this, regardless if it is somebody who's nice and kind. Go to a signing event that they have, or but this has gotten out of hand, and the defense of Connor Bedard and the way that he handled that situation should stand.
Think of the way that like TMZ treats the celebrities and running them down, taking pictures. That's what the Seekers are like. So like, if you don't know what it's like being those superstar NHL guys, look at how the TMZ treats these celebrities. But also too, if I was Connor McDavid, Connor Bedard, Sid, I wouldn't sign. I'm not that I wouldn't sign for anyone, but I would sign less and less, because at the end of the day, it makes your autograph worth more if there's not a ton of it out there. So like, if I was a superstar guy, I would be like, I'm gonna make it where I don't sign a ton. It's not liquidated or whatever the word is, where there's a million signings of mine and I can kind of just know where my autographs are. And, those people can make some money too, but it also makes it worth more money.
And they bring the numbers. That's what they'll do. And then they make the jersey. So all of a sudden, like you're signing a number, and like you have a signed jersey. So
the cloth one that they end up sewing on, or sometimes they even iron them on.
Mm-hmm. So and Bish, you're right. They're not all bad guys, but there are certain ones that are very, very entitled and rude, and then they'll snap at you if you don't sign. It's like. And for me, at that day with the baseballs, I'm like, dude, I signed 10 cards, man. I didn't even play baseball, bro. Why do you want my signature on a baseball?
I signed all the cards, and then I signed a few baseballs like you, and then I'm like, all right, man, kind of surprised that you're even signing baseballs. And then I was just laughing the whole time signing the rest of the baseballs because of how persistent he was about me signing the baseball. So at a certain point, it's kind of like you're just kind of like laughing and doing it and saying like, this guy's got me in a mental pretzel at the fact that he's bullying me. But also, don't tell me that some of the smartest sporting individuals on the planet aren't smart enough to differentiate a kid who wants an autograph for his collection and these guys who are making money. The worst ones, though, Whit and Jans, are the ones who bring their kids. Their kids aren't even in school, and they're using their kids to get the Audi.
Yeah.
So
and the vets like Sid, they sniff that out.
Oh yeah.
They always know which kids are with Seekers, and then which kids are legit like human kids that aren't being trolled around by seekers to get superstars autographs. So yeah, a viral video that I don't think went as that guy thought it would go when he posted it. Where surprisingly, like most people realize, like, all right, like get away from him. Basically,
it's still
my favorite seeker. Remember Kayvon in Toronto? His name was Kayvon.
Yeah. The big guy.
No, he was a small, tiny guy. He hung out with the big guy, but he would follow you the entire. It was when you used to stay close to the rink, and he would walk with you the entire way. And I'd sign right as I walked in, so I'd make him walk with me the whole time. He was hilarious. Me and Keith Ballard loved this guy.
Hey, well, at least he gave you a little friendship, you know.
Yeah. They still text. They still text.
He lives in Yans's side house there where we record the podcast.
Next on the list here, I have the Wild, and we'll get into that in a second. But quickly, I just want to mention, like, what we're watching from Colorado right now is they're actually like on a pace, and they've only played 22 games. Like, they're looking like that Bruins team that broke the record for points, and everyone knows how that ended in the first round, and Florida takes them out. But this Colorado team is heads and shoulders like above everyone else. They have one loss in regulation. It was to the Bruins. It was an afternoon game in the Garden. It still took a great effort out of Boston to get that win. But Makar is on like a record-setting pace. McKinnon is McKinnon. Netchus, like just this whole Colorado team. Not only are they the top of the watch list in terms of entertainment and like how incredibly fast the team is, but they're drumming everyone. So it's wild to see right now.
October 25th. That's when they lost to the Bruins. That was their last regulation loss.
And when you're losing games in OT, like if you're really struggling, you get to OT, you lose a game. Like it's a bummer, but you're like, we got a point. For them to lose these games in OT, it's like, all right, dude, we lost in a shootout OT. Could have gone either way. Just the amount of wins they have. It's just crazy. And never leaving the building without a point. We're coming up on Thanksgiving. They have one game without a point. Like, what the fuck is going on here? So I just wanted to shout them out. But the Wild.
Just quickly though, like I would say the other storyline obviously is like going back to a year ago is they don't even have these two goalies, and now they're doing what they're doing. Like I think that
I saw your tweet about Team Canada.
I don't know, man. I mean, you take at least as one of the guys, the hottest guy in the league. I think that Logan Thompson's probably still there, but like if he keeps up this pace and he's getting now that Blackwood's back, it's probably going to go back to just flipping back and forth, which is also great for that team because you keep them both fresh, right? I mean, that's a successful system they got going on. But I mean, good for the kid, man. He's been a journeyman. I believe he's on his 5th team, and then he gets that 1-year extension this year, and he's like, I think overall, like, I think he's like, 8th in save percentage, 5th in goals against, or whatever it may be. Maybe he's 1st in goals against, but he's all across the leaderboard in every goalie statistical stat. So just
if they split the rest of the year and they get to the playoffs, then the question arises. Like, I think you still do it. Like the Bruins fucked up. They did it all year. They went to Allmark. They lose. RA was flipping out that Swayman wasn't playing. If they continue this run and they win the President's Trophy and they're going back and forth, like just do it.
Let me ask you this: if they're both clicking at the same rate that they've been playing, and I know obviously you're playing with Colorado, you're getting the run support. By the way, they had back-to-back shutouts, the both of them in under 24 hours, going back to the Blackhawks game, and I forget who they played the night before,
Nashville.
Or it was Nashville. Well, that's not hard. Would you consider bringing them as a tandem for Team Canada, and then you fill in the other spot?
No, because they're a tandem on a team where they're going every other night. In Olympics, you're not doing that. You know what I mean? Like they're powerful together on the Avs because, hey, Tuesday night we got Wedgwood, Thursday night Blackwood, Saturday night Wedgwood, and I think Canada. It's just that's not how it's going to work. They're going to have one guy. Well, I mean, we saw Brodeur in 2010. Luongo took over, but that wasn't like, hey, no matter what, going into this Olympics, we're switching starters every game. But in the playoffs, if they do this all year and they continue on a pace even close to this, I think you're crazy if game 1 and 2 they both don't start a game.
Well,
and
if they continue this pace, we might not even have playoffs. They might just give them the fucking mug after the regular season.
Exactly.
This is insane.
He said in Boston, and next thing you know, they were donezo.
And the next thing you know, Marchand was gone.
The Minnesota Wild guys are a wagon right now. And incredibly, what did we say? They didn't have Zuccarello. The start was horrible. Faber's calling out his own play. Zook comes back, and they have one loss, I think, in 8 games it's been since he came back. And this team, let me tell you how this relates to the Edmonton Oilers.
Oh, no.
Yeah.
Oh, no.
Goaltending.
Oh, no.
Why? And you guys know about Wallstedt, and you've seen what he's doing. And we can go back, to the 2021 NHL draft. And the Edmonton Oilers with that tweet. And you want to go see some replies that'll make you laugh to a tweet? Go look at that tweet. Every fan of the Edmonton Oilers was saying, take this goalie from Sweden. Take him and run. We got McDavid. We got Leon. We have a goalie. What did the Oilers do? They traded 2 spots back, and they got a 3rd rounder as well. And they took Xavier Bourgault, who hasn't played an NHL game. No offense to this guy, right? You know, he's a scorer in the Quebec League. He's playing in the AHL right now with Belleville, I think the Senators team. But the Wild grabbed that pick, and they took Wallstedt. And Wallstedt is a full-blown wall. You can't score on the guy. He's got 3 shutouts, I think, in his last 7 games. Gustavsson added another one. They got 4 shutouts in the last game. Edmonton's watching sieve after sieve and red light after red light, and we had the pick to take this guy, and we traded 2 picks back. It didn't take him.
Wait, was it like automatic? Like they knew the next player going to get drafted was this goalie, and Edmonton
Minnesota wanted him. Minnesota wanted him,
obviously,
and Edmonton should have wanted him. And listen, this is when people say, like, I could be a GM, and sometimes you're like, buddy, no, you don't. Like, every Oilers fan was like, take Wallstedt.
How did they know?
Because there was a big prospect. I mean, not often are goalies picked that high anymore, dude. Yeah. It's a different world where you don't. Fleury goes 1st overall. Like, I don't know if we'll ever see that again. And so 1st round pick, 20th overall, we got McDavid, we got Leon, we need a goalie. Let's trade the pick to Minnie for 2 picks back for a forward, which we don't need, and let Minnie get the goalie of the future that's now lighting up the NHL. So it all comes back to Edmonton, and all the glory goes to Edina and the rest of Minneapolis and watching this fucking stud.
This is a hard mini podcast right now.
Yeah, they should be loving life right now. They should be. Their team's a wagon. They got Zuccarello back. He's lighting it up. Faber, the Faber thing, he did look brutal at the beginning of the year, but he calls himself out in the locker room. Like, calling yourself out to the media takes it. You may think I'm sounding ridiculous. It takes guts. It's like I know the fans are saying this, and I know when I'm playing bad more than anyone else does, and I'm not doing the job right now. Dude, in the last 11 games, he has 10 points. He's playing 26 minutes a game. And Spurgeon, who called a players-only meeting and went over everything, and he's a quiet guy. We interviewed him a few years ago. In the last, I think, 10 games, he's played 180 minutes 5-on-5. He hasn't been on the ice for a goal against. Like, wow. That's leadership. Like, all these guys kind of look themselves in the mirror, and they got obviously a guy, Zuccarello, you play with Keith Back, who's a locker room guy, and they look awesome. They look great. I don't know if they can catch Dallas or Colorado. That division's nuts, but they are what we thought they were going into the season.
They haven't trailed in a game since November 7th, which is fucking insane. Like, I mean, obviously, when you have a goalie like Wallstedt just kicking everything out in the Oilers' face, it's a little bit easier. But yeah, we talked about it. I knew what Zook brings to a locker room, like, because, you know, the ebbs and flows of a season, you're going to lose games, you're going to be winning games. But I know he's a guy that just really keeps everybody in perspective, everybody loose, but also brings a certain type of intensity. So couldn't be more happy for him, especially he's getting older too, right? It's like, okay, I got to play for another contract. I want to keep playing. The guy loves hockey, so I don't see him retiring anytime soon, but it's got to be fun watching. I was watching the other night, like, that building looked electric.
He just seems like such a smart player where you always get a little bit nervous maybe about his speed. I wouldn't consider him the fastest guy. How is he? You think he's one of those guys that's going to be able to play forever just because he's so cerebrally good? Cerebrally? Is that how you say it? Cerebrally? Sure. Mentally good, like, on the hockey side of things. Like, is that, like, what's it about his game, Jans, that impresses you the most?
he has that huge stick, but his ability to just like find guy. He's one of the best passers I ever played with. He made a little bump pass I think it was to Faber, and then Faber. No, it was to Middleton, and then Middleton passed it to Kirill. But just like a heads up little play in the middle, like his hockey IQ is off the charts. He's not the best skater, but he's always in a good position. He's got that long stick. He's not a liability defensively, but I think just the way he thinks the game out there, like he gets everybody involved. Like Kirill wouldn't be the player he is if he didn't have Zook playing with him the last few years. Like everybody just benefits when he's out on the ice.
And Boldy, too. I think Billy G said like 50-50, or was it 40-40?
Like 40-40.
That guy's, 50-40. That guy can score. He's getting better every single year. He's enormous. He's got sick hands. It's a fun team to watch. Keith, the building was electric. And my final thing is the Pasha under the hood. I don't really know like how they figure this stat out, but Wallstedt and Gustavsson, they got in November, they have 13.78 saves above expected. I'm pretty sure that's like insane, right? Like where I don't know how whoever tracks that, like what you're supposed to save or not, but it just shows both of those guys are lights out. And as Jack Parker said, you don't need to. You could call hockey goalie. That's pretty much how you figure out this sport. And
I was gonna say that to you. I was going over the outline with Jeff. I said, who was it who said that? He goes, I think it was Witt and Jack Parker. That they should rename the sport goalie.
Yep. And who knows? He might have made it up, but I know it's been a saying and it's true. And before we go to Donnie Does to talk a little Peakin biz, I want to talk about Ottawa and a pretty sick article that I read in The Athletic. Julian McKenzie wrote it. So they're 9-4-4 since the Brady injury, which is that's their since his injury, I believe. And Stutzel's been awesome. And the interesting part of the article was Daniel Alfredson, who's an assistant coach with Ottawa now, finally convinced him to tape his entire blade. And I've always wondered, so he always had a tape job, a little tape at the toe. I've never got that, and I see kids do it now. It's like, dude, the blades of these sticks, they're so like slippery, and the tape to me like matters a lot. And Alfredson would stay on him, and then they blew out the Bruins in a game. And he ended up getting 2 goals with all the tape on the stick. And Alfredson convinced him to stick that out. And in the 11 games he's had that, he has 12 points, 8 goals. And I'm pretty sure it like makes a difference. Like you can't tell me shooting a puck on how slippery the blade is
probably missing the net. I'd be interested to see his missing the net stats. Just because it'll
like Luke Robo.
Yeah. What's that?
Like Luke Robitaille said, you got to hit the net to score. Like these kids think hitting the glass is cool, but it goes back. Like if a Hall of Famer like Daniel Alfredson tells you something to do, just try it out. Give it a shot. It may work. Like listen to these guys. They've done it.
But I have always thought like the guys and some people pull it off. I'm like, I don't know how you stick handle even on those blades without tape, but that was kind of cool. And,
I mean, there is one guy who could do it. Yeah, you know what I'm talking about. This motherfucker.
Columbus.
This motherfucker. Okay. So we're in Columbus. I think I've told you this story on the pod before. We're in Columbus. We have an optional skate. We've been on a run. The boys are loving it. The room's loose. And so there's probably about 6 of us on the ice. And I don't think Smitty skated. And it might have been LaBarbera or Greiser. So all of a sudden, like the guys who aren't practicing, and remember in Columbus, they have the main rink and then the practice rinks attached to it, but you have to kind of walk around. It's a bit of a trek.
It's a hike.
So next thing you know, like all the boys start like filtering out, watching this practice. And like probably I'd say by the end of it, at least like 8-9 guys. And you could tell they're just up to
something's going on here.
They're giggling. But this probably was my best practice of all time. I was sniping. I couldn't miss a pass. I couldn't miss receiving a pass. I basically looked like Wayne fucking Gretzky out there. And finally, he comes on the bench. He goes, check out your stick. These motherfuckers put clear tape around my white tape so it would be slippery. And they thought they were going to come out for practice and I was going to be missing everything.
And I was like, it helped you?
I was the best I've ever been.
Oh, Keith, you guys must have been like, how is he doing this right now?
Yeah, it was the most shocking thing I've ever seen. And he tried it in the game the next day.
What's crazy is everyone's so in tune with their stick and their tape job. Like, how did you not even see that?
No, I was out there just fucking putting around.
He's doing the square off drill with somebody else.
Looking at myself in the glass, just fucking, out there having a skate. That is, you guys were, the look on your faces as you guys are laughing. I'm like, what the fuck are these guys up to? I go, they must have sawed my stick or something and are waiting for it to break. But those are the little things that I will miss about being around the rink and being around the boys. So with that being said, anything else on Ottawa or
no, just the comments in that article on the in the Athletic. Like, it's Cole Caulfield, Paul Maurice, Mike Matheson, and a couple other coaches too that are talking about Stützle and like how unreal this guy is. I don't think he gets a lot of, like, he's an incredible player. He's so fast, but Maurice is talking about his compete. They talked to him about face-offs before the year. He's never been above 47% in his career. He's at 60% right now. So like, you worked with him. Just okay. Now, before anyone tries to gotcha culture me, at one point I had a tape job where there wasn't, the toe didn't have tape on it. So it almost like end in the middle of the blade or towards the end. But I was like, I don't want the puck on my toe at all. So that's like more, hey, you're never handling it there. I'm not doing toe drags. But to have it not in the heel is crazy to me.
So, So, I mean, there's a lot of ways we can break this down. So you see some guys where, like, the way that Connor Bedard shoots, where he elevates that top arm, where it's almost like he scoops it with the toe part and snaps it and use a lot of the flexion of the stick. If you go back to that picture, some guys, the way they shoot is they start by pushing it where near where the heel is. So they don't necessarily shoot it right off the toe. So I guess in this case, you would have way more leverage, where if you were doing that on the first half of that blade, it might skid out. So I don't know exactly how he shoots, but this is clearly just for like a toe shooter on the 2024 version, in the fact that it looks like a penis on the end of his blade.
You think guys are shooting from the heel nowadays?
I think that some guys in their release, they'll start pushing it from that, like maybe with like with a snapshot. It depends how you shoot. Like some guys are more inclined to take one-timers where they're getting it and they're kind of cupping it more. So I don't want to say on the heel. I would say more towards the middle. But in some cases, it would start on the heel side and work its way towards the toe. Like it's all about how you shoot the puck. But maybe that's why Alfie was watching him do it and being like, if you're going to shoot like that, you need that traction there.
Yeah.
So
it's pretty.
He's not even taping the bottom either. He's just putting a strip.
But that's fine though, because you're getting more slide. Whatever, maybe you like that. But where you're handling it, to me, no tape is nuts.
Well, that's what guys started doing, like you just said, Whit, because the friction along the ice is not necessarily good. So I'd see guys tape their whole stick from heel to toe, and they would take the X-Acto knife and they would literally just cut a strip on each side and remove the so where the bottom of the blade would be on what is like the composite part. So that's the best of both worlds, and that's like legit Geppetto in the workshop.
That's time. That's so time consuming.
But it's funny that he just put one across so he didn't have to deal with the knife cut. He's like, fuck it, just plaster it here like a paint job. But Ottawa, good for them. Thomas Chabot out a little bit, kind of sucks, but they're top 3 in Atlantic right now, and they're looking good. And I thought without Brady it would be a big time trouble, and their goaltending was horrendous. So shout out Ottawa. But
I'd be interested if they make a move at the deadline too, if they're in the playoff picture.
Yeah,
there's a shift now right now as far as the Canadian teams. It's happening, guys. They finally figured it out, these other guys. But without further ado, Whit, you touched on it.
Hold on. Before we get to Donnie, I got to do a couple ads, right, boys?
Same.
I got to do a couple ads. I got one and you got one, Biz. Let me scroll down and make sure that I cover this. I'm sorry for this is not professional hosting. DraftKings It's beginning to look a lot like holidays on the house at DraftKings Casino. Celebrate the season with bright lights and big wins on all your favorite casino games. Spin more than 1,000 slots, everything from the classics to exclusive new releases. New players get 500 spins over 10 days on your choice of cash eruption slots. Download the app and sign up with code Chiclets, then choose from 10 different cash eruption slots and let it spin in partnership with DraftKings Casino. The crown is yours. Now, Biz, make my penis hard with your ad read. I know that may sound weird, but sometimes your ad reads get me going.
Right.
RO.
Well, that's easy because this episode is sponsored by Row, a 2-in-1 prescription treatment designed to help you get stronger, harder erections. And yeah, better sex for the both of you. And here's the cool part. They dissolve under your tongue. That means they can hit your bloodstream faster than the traditional pill. Once they dissolve, Row Sparks start working in just 15 minutes on average. Swing! So you can be ready when the moment's right. And they don't just help you get hard. We're talking thicker, fuller, longer lasting erections. Plus, Row stays active in your system for 36 hours. So round 1, round 2, round 3, round 4. It's on the table, folks. Getting started is easy. Everything is 100% online. Row connects you with a licensed provider who reviews your info. No awkward rating rooms or face-to-face combos. And if approved, your treatment ships straight to your door. Ready to give it a try? New patients get $15 off Row Sparks on a reoccurring plan. Just head to ro.co/chiclets. That's ro.co/chiclets.
You're incredible. And Grinelli says it actually seems like Biz went to 3rd grade over the past year and can read now. That's a real punch in the face type compliment, but I couldn't agree more. And
Billy passed the 1st grade.
He's not taking it as an insult.
No, he's like, yes, Davenport University.
Next
and
stop,
before Donnie comes, Donnie,
astrology.
Yeah, that's our guy. And apparently Grinelli says the Ottawa Senators are big fish hunting. So that's a Grinelli. I don't know what he knows. I don't know if he knows any puck.
He's 0 for 90 on his takes.
Where's Donnie? Bring him in. Biz calls this guy a genius. Did you know that?
Hey, how are you?
How you doing, guy?
Doing good. Am I a genius? I don't think so, but I know a lot about history and just like geography and shit that Biz has never paid attention to in his life.
Yeah, you could tell him very basic things a lot of people know, and he's like, whoa. It's like the world's exploding meme.
Yeah, like I was telling him about Teddy Roosevelt, and his mind was blown. But to be fair, in Canada, maybe they don't teach you about Teddy Roosevelt at all.
True.
No, we didn't learn a lot about American history. I think that we had to learn, like World War II is the one that we got involved in, right?
World War I too.
Oh, World War I. And I is it true that in World War I that Canada got involved because they accidentally sunk one of their ships?
No, that was the U.S. The Germans sunk the Lusitania.
That's right. And then that's why the U.S. hopped on board. Okay,
He was around the strike zone. It was a ball, but it wasn't like
a
complete wild pitch.
Like, Biz, have you ever heard of Lewis and Clark?
I like that sounds familiar, but like I wouldn't be able to tell you why.
You don't know what they did?
No.
Okay.
Do you guys?
No, I know they're explorers, I believe. But Donnie, quickly, I'm sorry to hop in. G says to tell your producer to turn down your gain.
Yeah, your mic stinks.
All right. He is not in the room with me right now, but I'll shoot him a text. I can also just put the mic further
Thought you were
away
a
from me.
genius, Donnie.
Is this
Figure it the fuck out.
He knows Lewis and Clark, but he doesn't know microphones.
Does it sound better when I have the mic further away from me?
Yes, it actually does. It does.
It does.
Cool.
So don't worry
maybe
about
text
the
him in the
static
meantime.
mustache.
But while your producer comes in there and fixes that mic, we can ask you a few questions. How excited are you about the response to episode 1 of Peakin?
It's been awesome. I mean, I knew people were going to love it because people loved the pilot, and I was like, this is just bigger and better than the pilot. So I'm pumped about the support. Hopefully it means we can do a season at least once a year because that would be a dream come true.
Biz mentioned to me 2 seasons a year, possibly. And Donnie, I don't know if you saw the episode when Biz came on after. Like, he got emotional, and I could tell as a friend, like, it meant a lot to him. So I can't wait for the next 2. The first one, I was dying laughing at. Just incredible. And I got to give you credit while also chirping you. You can hike. It may not look like that, but you could hike. But I was amazed at you wanted a warm up on the mountain bike so badly. I didn't get that. Like, it's a bike.
It's a
I was
bike.
hoping that was a bit.
And most bikes, when I get on, I know how to like turn the gears up and down. And for some reason on that bike, I could only turn it in one direction.
You're going downhill.
And then meanwhile, like on the hike up, Biz had given me a Scooby snack. I was starting to feel that a little bit. And I was like, I'm about to mountain bike for the first time. I just kind of like just wanted to get a feel for it. Like I knew if I had 10 minutes just on that little practice course, I would have been good, but he wouldn't let me get that.
The best is when they showed the sign practice for 10 minutes and Donnie's like, yeah, see Biz, we should have been doing it.
Yeah.
But you didn't get any orders in with Biz. You didn't go to a restaurant with him.
No. I fucking listen, we weren't doing the mellow mushroom on this trip. He took me to the worst restaurant I've ever been to in my life, like the worst piece of pizza. I wouldn't feed it to my dog, especially if my girlfriend hadn't taken it. But I knew you guys would appreciate that one. But how good was the cuisine along the route in BC, whether it was Whistler, whether it was mainland or in Tofino, and then where we ended up?
Yeah, Tofino blew me away. That was some of the best seafood I've had. I thought kind of like the Northeast in the US, like that's where the best seafood in the world is. But like Tofino is a close second to like Cape Cod, South Shore, Massachusetts. I was very impressed. We had those blackened oysters they were like stuffed blackened oysters. We didn't really have a single bad meal on the trip. I did like Biz had some insane orders. I just wasn't fast enough breaking the phone out. It wasn't during a live stream, but just, with Biz, like even if he's going into a Starbucks, like it's going to take at least 20 minutes.
Oh yeah. It's just, he can't do a normal order. He can't do it, but he's very friendly doing it. But it's like, dude, when you're behind him in line, it's banana bread from Starbucks, buddy. Like,
what do you mean? I just get it not warmed up.
No, and you'll be like, you'll ask about the ingredients.
Like a blueberry muffin,
Yeah.
And then a large iced coffee, but no ice, so a hot coffee.
I think our first meal in Vancouver, he was like, yeah, can I get the honey garlic chicken salad, but could you take the honey and the garlic off the chicken?
Yep.
No, that's where I almost got my truck towed before the trip had even started when we went
It was
to
bigger
the
than the tow truck.
Yeah. Yeah, what do you make of my truck, Donnie?
Dude, it's too big. It was very inconvenient just finding places to park that thing the entire
Shut
trip.
up, dude. We ripped around all of British Columbia in like the most comfortable whip going.
They could only hike near 18-wheel rest stops.
Yeah, like we came out and a guy was getting ready to tow your car, and that would have ruined the entire trip. Because I guess you've just been racking up parking tickets in Vancouver but you're like, oh, but I don't live in Vancouver anymore, so it's fine. Like, as long as I don't get one more in Vancouver, like I can keep the truck.
Oh, they're savages. They'll let people, you could shoot up on the side of the street, but you can't park your car 5 minutes past the meter goes. And then they just ticket you.
Biz showed me that. I was complimenting him. I was like, Vancouver is such a nice city. This place is sick. And he was like, all right, I just got to show you like a few blocks. I mean, we went away from one of the nicest areas of the city. And then all of a sudden you're just in a war zone.
East Hastings. What other things did you appreciate about British Columbia?
The scenery, the people. I don't think we ran into any assholes. Actually, the only assholes we ran into. So when we got to Russet Lake, the end of our hike, there's a hut up there too that you can reserve in advance. And it was booked up for us. So we had to camp. But at that point, we were completely out of water. We were hurting. Corey especially was hurting. And I was like, hey, Biz, when you get up there, just see if they have some filtered water for us. Just let them know that we need something fast. And when you guys asked them, they just pointed at the lake, which was like 200 yards away.
Oh, yeah, they were dicks. They really, really. one of those moments.
But you
where you're
guys are
like,
probably loud too, Biz. They were probably like, who are
so
these
no,
people
okay, so
with
time out.
cameras?
So I wasn't. And I don't say Wonton was either, but he went down there and he had the cameras out. So all of a sudden, these people who got there a few hours earlier, which you're probably supposed to do in order to give yourself enough time to set up the camp, I'm like, Donnie, I think we should kind of keep the cameras low here. And he was so shroomed out that he was speaking with a louder voice than he should have been. And that's why throughout the course of that whole part of the video, I keep going, shh, shh, because he was talking a little bit louder.
Yeah, you were very concerned about that. That's your Canadian politeness.
Can't put others. He really does. Until
Try.
he's ordering food.
Now, was arriving at the campsite, was that the like low point of the first vid? Because we were in tough shape. Like Corey could barely walk with his knees. We were all dehydrated. Was there a part of you being like, how are we going to get out of here? Because that's what I was thinking.
No, I was really having a good time. I was flying high on the shrooms, and I was just very happy to be there and knowing that we were going to heat up some water and do those meals. I'll say I could eat that spaghetti bolognese every single night of my life. That's how good I thought it was. And I'm glad we cooked that up. But no, I was in such a good mood hanging out with you boys, Donnie. I did feel bad for Corey. And like, we got to pump our editors' tires because they not only do the trek and the journey with just as heavy as packs as us. Corey's knees are not in the best of shape, and he has to go home and fucking edit the whole thing as well as you do, Donnie, but you're in front of the camera. So he barely gets any camera time. So we can't thank our editors, him and Tyler, enough. And there was a few other guys that helped as well as you edit, right?
Yeah. Shout out Nick Snow. He helped a bunch as well. And Goldfinger helped with the credits. So yeah, shout them all out. Corey was the one who edited that crazy like solar system tripping out scene after you went to bed.
That.
Yeah, that was a nice touch.
Are there any teasers you could give for maybe your favorite moment of the remaining 2 episodes?
Yeah, so episode 2, I wouldn't say it gets like super serious or anything. It's just me and Biz having a great time at Tofino. We go surfing, we fish. We filmed a great fishing scene.
It's insane.
I think it goes toe for toe for some of the best fishing content that Barstool has done. We kind of turned it into a hockey game. So I'm sure all the Chiclets listeners will love that. And yeah, I don't want to spoil anything more about that. And then,
well, we actually are going to spoil it a little bit because we're going to play a trailer for episode 2 right now, Donnie, for everybody.
Hey, okay.
That looks like a vagina right there.
Fucking fuck. Woo-hoo-hoo! It's not over. Army matey, army matey.
Genghis Khan, have you ever heard of him?
Never heard of that.
Oh,
More fish for Biz.
What did you bite into there, Biz?
Oh my God.
Ask him about it. But I would say the most high octane scene of the entire series is the boating scene when we're fishing with Lance for coho salmon. They took us to an unreal spot. We saw sea cows on the way, and it just
means cows that lived on the beach.
Yes.
Yeah, not a manatee.
Okay.
No,
not a manatee. No, and then it felt like we were fishing in a tropical rainforest with the climate and stuff. So some of the coolest fishing that I've ever done. And Donnie, I'll throw it over to you for what I ate while we were surfing.
Well, dude, so while I'm surfing, just like a cabbage floats up next to me. It's just like a normal cabbage you buy in the grocery store, but it somehow floated up on the beach. And then I gave it to Biz as a gift, as a joke, and he just immediately took a giant bite, which cannot be good for you.
He asked you to take some part of it off the cabbage and maybe put a different sauce on.
Yeah. Yeah. High maintenance order guy. I was just trying to kind of get to Donnie's level because he's used to eating weird shit on these trips. He's done it in other series that he's done. And also in the boat, when he was shotgunning a beer there, he was doing it with a piece of kelp. Which is I'll let you explain that, Donnie.
Oh yeah, that was just a kelp bong. I think that's like popular amongst fishermen in that area. But I mean, kelp you can eat. It's seaweed. It's supposed to be in the sea. A random piece of cabbage that you find in the ocean. It's like I don't even think I would take a bite out of that.
Oh, okay.
That's how you get like E. coli.
Oh, all right.
Perfect. Is
Sorry
it
about
true Biz tried to get a riot date up on one of those sheep that you guys were barking at?
So I don't even know if Biz wants me talking about this. He did go on one riot date on
No,
the trip.
no, we don't need to get into that.
We can't talk about it.
It was no.
Oh,
it was a
I
good-
can't wait to ask
it was,
about this
no, it was
one
a
off
good
air.
time, but I just don't want to discuss it.
Okay.
I think
That's
we
We'll
should-
fine.
respect you. We'll respect you, Biz.
It gets a little lonely when you're doing these hiking
Yeah,
trips
no,
when you
for
have to
sure.
snuggle up and spoon Donnie and Corey.
Donnie,
And
you did talk about you had just had a kid, so you hadn't been hiking as much. Like you must have been absolutely gassed, like even after the grouse grind thing.
I feel like I have good endurance. Like I'm not really fast, but I can hike for a while. But to be fair, like my knees were also fucked after these hikes. And it's because I didn't stretch. If only Biz had kind of walked me through a stretching routine, I would have been okay. But I've got like tight MCLs, which is that muscle on the side of your knee. And so that like was all banged up afterwards. And I could barely bend my knee for a while after this trip. So I'm definitely, yeah.
Did you notice something that you noticed quickly hanging out with Biz is the breathing? Like it must have been ridiculous on hikes. There's a lot of.
I mean, he mentioned that he's like, it's tough for me to breathe because I've been punched in the face so many times. But no, I don't think we were close enough for that to annoy me.
Okay.
Actually, he snored a lot in the tent. I think like you and Corey took turns just snoring a bunch. So I didn't get too much sleep, but
Oh yeah, he was snoring a lot and loud. So interesting. Maybe that's what was waking me up, and then I would snore and wake him up. So it was just a snoring battle. That was where I discovered a lot about the solar system. You guys think I'm crazy because you know when you're driving home at night and it's like 5 o'clock, 6 o'clock, and the sun hasn't quite set, but then you look up in the sky and then you're like, oh, the moon's out too. So you get the sun and the moon.
Yeah.
You don't just like sit there and then like watch it for hours to see it move. I'm just like, oh, there's the moon tonight. It's right there. So then I would just go back about my business. So I just assumed where like when the night hit, it would just stay in one spot. And then that's where it was for that particular night. I didn't realize that throughout the course of a night, it moved like the sun. Not saying that the sun moves, although it does, but you get what I'm saying? It moves in relation to when you're looking at the sky throughout the course of the whole day. I just thought that the moon just stayed in its spot and was a good boy.
Okay. Is that fair? I feel like, yeah.
I think that's a perfect explanation to like a second grade class. Like, hey guys, when you're driving home from school and you see the sun and the moon at the same time, just know that when you see the moon later, it'll be in a different place. And then just go about your business. I think that's how Biz worded it. Then I just go about my business.
Yeah, I think that's
perfect.
I think that's a relative explanation. I learned about the Pluto thing. We've already talked about that.
Then we saw in the trailer that Biz did not know who Genghis Khan is. I feel like even if you're not a history guy, you've heard that name, right?
No, I've heard the name, but even when you said it, I don't even know if I'd heard the name before. I thought that maybe it was like an old movie. Did they make a movie out of it?
I'm sure at some point.
And were you guys aware of this guy who conquered the most land in the history of the world?
I knew roughly who he was. I think he had like 1 million kids, I'm guessing. That was one thing about Genghis Khan, Donnie, correct?
Yeah, I think they say like 2% of the world's population has some of the same genes as Genghis Khan.
Business con.
It's like Biz at All-Star break.
Yeah. We were
Tasha's saying he was with Trevor Linden this weekend. He wants in on next season.
That's crazy. So he actually spends a lot of time in that pocket of Jackson, Wyoming. I want to say he bought in Utah and or Idaho. Somewhere in that pocket there where it's a nice little hidden gem, because Trevor Linden, Donnie, when we were talking about this series, I was hoping that we would get him for a guest spot on the BC one, because that's where he lives full time. Like that's his primary residence, and he's a machine. Like he'll go like 6-7 nights overnight into the woods.
Really?
Oh yeah, he is a like an anaerobic machine too. The amount of like mileage she can trek over the course of that, setting up his own tent, living off of whatever he has in his bag. Like Trevor Linden is a very, very experienced outdoorsman. I would be honored if he would join us. My goal is this: is I want to give people different looks of not only just the hiking, but outdoor things. So Jackson, Wyoming is for sure on the list because we can do the rodeo, we can shoot guns.
And you have some land there, right?
I would like to camp out on the land to start. I think that it would be fun to do the trek and the climb to the top of the Tetons, where in some cases you're like chiseling in and you're using the ropes to get all the way up to the top, and then you spend a night up top on top of the Tetons. There is my buddy did it, Ross, and there's a license that you can get in order to go do that. Fly fishing experience would be different from the fishing that we did. I had a blast fly fishing and it was super cool. So do that there, but also from a different element is provide like the winter side of it. So we talked about maybe if we end up going and segueing it with the Olympics somehow, going to Italy and doing something wintertime hiking, and then doing some wintertime outdoor activities, and then maybe hopefully going to like the semifinals and finals of the Olympics. So my goal would to be moving forward, do like 2 of these a year. And it's not just about hiking. There has to be other things that you do in the midst of it to kind of keep it different and interesting, because you can only hike so much, although I love it.
Like when we were in the Smoky Mountains, we saw midgets wrestle as well.
That was in the pilot episode that we did. So I don't know how many people even know that we did a pilot. So go check that out on the Wonton's YouTube channel. But yes,
Well,
I think it'd be incredible if you had Whit go with you one time just to see him.
I would 100%. I would 100%.
You would?
I don't know if I'd agree to stay over in a camp, but I'll go for a big hike with him. I'll go for a big hike. But we got 167,000 views in 4 days. So good for you guys, man. It's awesome.
Yeah, it's going well. I mean, if we went to Italy, that'd be a dream. I've been to those mountains before, the Dolomite Mountains, where they're hosting all the like mountain events for the Olympics. I got stranded on a mountain there where me and my wife were in town, and we weren't skiing, but they had these beautiful huts on the top of these mountains where you can just go hang out. So we took the gondola up and we were just hanging out, having a great time. And then finally the bartender was like, "Hey, the gondola closes in a half hour. You should probably leave." So we leave. By the time we get to the gondola, it had closed. So we go back to the hut, and the hut had closed. And all of a sudden, everybody had just left and just skied down the mountain. And we were just stranded at this hut on top of the mountain. I saw this one guy on like a snowplow. I called him over and I was like, "Hey, we need help. We're stranded up here." And he was like, "I don't speak English," and just drove away. So me and my wife ended up just having to slide down on our butts the entire mountain.
That must be kind of fun.
Yeah, she was kind of scared. Like, I'm pretty sure there were tears. I mean, they had turned off all the lights. It was pitch black. It was just,
that's the worst part, is no lights too.
So we could see lights that were on at the bottom of the mountain, and we just had to like slowly slide down on our butts. And
how long did it take you?
Probably 45 minutes, an hour.
I guess too, like when I say fun, like you could kind of catch an edge there too, and all of a sudden you're rolling uncontrollably. So that is a panic.
Yeah.
She's like, "Thanks, honey."
If I was with Biz and we were filming for content, that would be perfect. But when you're with your wife, she did not sign up for that.
Donnie, I just kind of told you what my vision is for the show. Like, I love hanging out with you, and you're, for those people who are listening who don't really know Donnie's background, like he's done a million different things and been a million different places. Where would you like to bring this series moving forward? Like, what types of locations?
Yeah, I like doing varied locations. So doing something in the Southwest, like Arizona, where you live, just because the landscapes would be completely different. And then eventually taking it abroad. Like there's a hike in Guatemala where you can see this active volcano and the lava flowing down at night. Kilimanjaro is like the end goal. I think I talked about it the last time we were on this pod, but I don't think we have Everest in us. Maybe you do, but that's not on my bucket list, climbing Everest. But I think we could do Kilimanjaro, that you can do it in a week. We already know Chris Long, who like hikes with other people in the NFL every few years to raise money for his charity. I feel like that is very doable.
The Everest
Chara join you, Biz.
That would be a great guest. We could also do one in the that New England pocket, Mount Washington, you mentioned, is probably one of the highest peaks in that area, if not the United States.
Yeah. It's also the windiest place on earth, I think.
Really?
Yeah, so that would be cool to get Witt involved and maybe Chara and a few other Bruins around there. We almost had Amendola, who was supposed to be part of that hike that we did in episode 3, which we haven't really discussed that much so far. So we were originally only going to do 2 episodes, but because of that unique opportunity that popped up with Tyler, David Vobora, and of course Chaser, we ended up just having to make it 3 episodes. So the last one has a lot more sentimental value and is not as maybe as quote unquote funny and silly. Although
I would say it's still very funny. It just also has a sentimental aspect.
Where we had a blast, and you're right. It did capture that, like the hippo mode that we have at the end at Moat Lake. And for those of you, Donnie, how would you describe Moat Lake and when we first got there?
I mean, it's incredible because most of the time when you're in a national park, you're not finding a private cabin in the middle of a lake there. But because this guy, shout out Clint Wood, is that his last name?
Yeah.
Clint Wood. He's the man. His great grandfather, I think, bought that land off the railroad company before it became a national park and built a couple cabins. So then when it became a national park, he was just grandfathered in. So now his family just has this private cabin that you have to hike 6 hours to. So we got to spend a night up there. It's in the middle of this pristine lake where you can drink the water. And I'm used to swimming in salt water. So me and Biz tried filming a hippo mode review there. And Biz almost drowned. He had to give up halfway through. He just had to swim to the shore. And then I almost drowned too, because they were like, oh, the water's so clean. You can actually go underwater and take a sip of the water while you're under it.
And, I was doing that.
Yeah. So I tried doing that. I tried going underwater and drinking, which is what they call drowning where I'm from.
Oh, no. I was drinking the water, but I wasn't doing it while I was underneath the water. Yeah, that's crazy.
Yeah, they said some people can actually do that. I tried to. That it was terrifying. But that might be my favorite hippo mode review we've filmed so far.
First hippo mode that actually drowned. There's no hippos drowning until you two do it.
Yes.
Because they can drink underwater.
One of the coolest things about episode 2 is we go with that fishing with this guy Lance, and we catch the coho salmon and then bring it back. And the cook from the place called Shelter, which is the best restaurant in town, they have an unreal setup. We had this Brazilian guy. We brought it in. We gave them the excess fish, and he cooked us up fresh on the spot, an unreal risotto salmon dish. And he even added in what did he put in? These shrimp. And then as soon as we're done that, boom, killer whale in the harbor area. It happens 2-3 times a year. So Lance, after helping us gut the fish and clean the fish and give it to the cook, we jump on his boat and we got video of us seeing these 4 killer whales. And I guess we just missed them because they do it as a group. They just slaughtered a sea lion or something. So there was all this blood in the harbor area, and that's how they were aware that there was these whales around. So it was pretty wild scene where 2-3 times a year these whales go in through the harbor, and just so happens we're there to experience it. That's crazy.
It was a sign.
And Ryan, I don't know, were you in this video? The very first time I collabed with Chiclets is I went fishing with you guys up in Boston.
I wasn't at that one. That's when Biz just went to sleep, right?
Yeah. Biz immediately was just like, I'm seasick, went below deck and stayed there the entire time. So I can assure you this fishing video will be better.
All right. I love it, Donnie.
Yeah.
We appreciate you swinging by. As I mentioned, huge fan of the first episode. Very excited for the next 2 and whatever you guys do. You guys have great chemistry. It's funny.
Oh, he's the best. Anything else you wanted to mention, Donnie, before we take off?
It seemed like at first, if you guys remember this scene from episode 1 where Biz is talking about foreskin and he's like, oh, you know what? I think I'm going to circumcise my future son. He sent me a text after we had a rough draft and he was like, I don't really want the Forsey conversation on the internet. And I was like, what are you talking about? You go on Son of a Boy Dad, you're talking about Forsey.
He said he was going to cut his off if the Leafs didn't win the cup.
I didn't know if I wanted documented that I was going to sometimes they got the people protesting with the signs and they got the big red stain on the white jeans. And I don't know. Like they call it like mutilation of your kid, and I don't know. I don't know if I want my kid knowing.
No one's going to hold it to you. If you do end up having a son, no one's going to be like, "Oh, well, you promised you were going to circumcise him in a Peakin
what
video."
Donnie explained, and he's right. Like normally it stays in the family. Like my dad was uncut, so I was uncut, and I'm sure that his father was uncut. So is it bad for me to quote unquote cut the tradition?
Well, some people may say that you're breaking the trauma in your family. Like what's that term? Like when you're finally getting rid of the trauma. Like there's kids who deal with things from their dad.
But the trauma isn't chopping it off.
No, the trauma's having it, I think.
Yeah.
That's
the trauma is showering with 15 other guys in a hockey locker room and getting made fun of.
Yes, exactly.
Biz's brain's moving right now at a mile a minute.
You also have to have a kid first. So
what percentage of the population of the world do you think men are chopped?
Ooh.
So 50-50. So pretty much all Muslim countries circumcise, and that's like a big chunk of the country. Most people in the US, but like in the UK and Europe, people don't like normally really get chopped unless they're Jewish or Muslim, I feel like.
Yeah, I feel like all the Euros I play with, the Swedes and everything, I think they were Forsey squad.
Yeah, covered wagons.
Yeah,
interesting. Who would have thought that a hiking show would lead to this discussion?
Yeah, true. I also want to applaud Biz for staying sober, but there was a funny moment when we were up at the lake. I had a bottle of whiskey, and you're like, "Hey, do you mind just like taking a sip and just blowing your breath in my face for a bit? I just want to smell it."
It smelled
well. The bottle, dude. You should have just.
No, but I caught a whiff of when he was talking to me, and the chemistry it had with the saliva in your mouth at that time just made it just smelled like an unreal whiskey that that's as much satisfaction as I needed from that whiskey.
Yeah,
without drinking it.
Okay.
Yeah, and
was it Canadian whiskey?
I think so. And that's what, like, we really didn't drink that much because, like, on our first hike, we just hiked up and down.
Whiskey, wasn't it?
One day. But on this hike, like, we got towards the end, there was no water. And, like, earlier in the trip, we were like, yeah, we're going to take a bunch of shrooms. And, like, and then I was like, we got to, like, focus on just actually surviving, like, on getting this tent set up and getting some hot food cooked. So,
you didn't have enough water, but let's make sure I have my bottle of whiskey. Like,
yeah.
Probably.
But hey, maybe we go 2 nights next trip.
All right.
I would do a 2-nighter. That's the small steps, baby steps, right? The 2-nighter would be hopefully in Italy, and we could do it a winter episode or winter season, excuse me, and then save the next one for Jackson. So we'll see what's coming up in Peakin, and I appreciate you hopping on, Donnie. You're a hell of a teammate, and I had a blast with you, man.
Thanks, man. Thanks for having me on Chiclets.
Awesome. Thanks for taking care of our biz, Donnie.
I'll always get them back to you in one piece.
Yeah.
All right.
With a Forsey. All right. See you later, buddy. Thank you very much to Donnie. Everyone check out Peakin.
What a guy.
Now. Over Thanksgiving holiday. Check out Peakin. Flow Hockey, I guess, is putting together a Greensboro Gargoyles mini documentary that releases this week. So stay tuned on their socials for that. I want to see how that's going.
It's actually pretty cool. So Chris Peters, we had him on Game Notes this past week. He works for Flow Hockey now. He covers prospects, minor leagues, and he was there the opening weekend that we went down to Greensboro, and they had been filming the team. And it's actually an emotional piece about everything our head coach, Scott Burt, has gone through over the past 2 years. So I can't suggest this enough. I think it's going to be an awesome piece, and I believe it comes out around Tuesday. So make sure to check out Flow Hockey socials and their YouTube for that.
I love that. Biz, apparently you may have an idea to help the Leafs get out of this slump. And just quickly, I want to mention, like, Edmonton Oilers are nowhere near, I wish, the place they should be at. But they've played the most road games in the league. They just had a huge win against Florida. And by the way, that move by AJ Greer, that was dangerous to Trent Frederick. He pulls his legs out, could have buckled his head. But apparently he couldn't fight. He had something on his hand. I know he's very tough, but a great win for the Oilers to end that crazy road trip. The Leafs, on the other hand, they've played 15 home games, only 7 on the road, in which they're 1-6, barely above 500 at home. So do you have any thoughts or ideas to maybe end it, or are they just lottery bound?
No. So last year in playoffs, we were collaborating with Snoop Dogg and his manager, Big Kev. And we were going to drop those death row shirts, the Maple Leafs ones. I got it on right there. And we never did because they lost game 7. And I mean, it is a very, 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 very dark time in Leafland right now. The media has been brutal.
The
People are
darkest.
talking trade fucking Matthews, trade everyone. We got to rebuild now. It's nonsense. Like, we got to fucking pump the brakes here. We're just over 20 games into the season. If one guy who's been in the dumps and turned things around in the course of one season, it's Craig Berube when they won the Stanley Cup with the St. Louis Blues. They need a moment, right? They need a practice fight, maybe 2 at this point. But I think that this t-shirt drop and a promise that if the Leafs finish, and we could figure this record out right now, between now and the Olympics, if they can achieve a great record with a certain amount of wins, Snoop Dogg will then come on our podcast. So we're dangling the carrot, okay? Toronto Maple
You're
Leafs
making
in the
me
locker
root for
room.
the Leafs is what you're doing.
Do you want Snoop Dogg on the podcast?
Yes.
Or no? Before the
Yes.
Olympics, in which he's calling with NBC. Okay. Look at this guy.
He's
got the album. And Kev's going to be sending all the Snoop on a Stoops. So you won't be doing that. What do you normally do with the kids around Christmas time?
It's Elf on a Shelf.
Not
Keith has
anymore.
both, I think.
I have a
Mine's
Snoop
named
on the
Keith.
stoop.
You have one?
I have a Snoop on the stoop. Yeah.
Well, you're going to get the man in the flesh if the Leafs can pull off a certain amount of fucking victories, and we're dropping that shirt now, the death row. This is Kev's idea to get the ball rolling and spark the guys.
Leafs,
there it is. Okay? So even
Pretty
if you're
sick
not
shirt, dude.
Hey, and you know what? If you don't want to buy the shirt and you hate the Toronto Maple Leafs, I don't give a fuck. Don't buy the shirt. But for all you hardcore Leafs fans who are trying to spark things up, oh yeah, you see what I did there? Huh? We're gonna give the Toronto Maple Leafs the spark that they fucking need right now.
Snoop on the stoop.
And let's count the games before Olympic break, boys, and let's
Biz,
set the standard.
I was ready to give you a hard time because last podcast you said I will not speak about the Leafs until they get 3 wins in a row. But you dangling that carrot, I am fucking all in on the Leafs.
I just want to know, I like your optimism. You're an internal optimist, but they're in last place in the Eastern Conference. Like, at what point, if they're one of the last 2 worst 3 teams in the Eastern Conference, like, is it game 50? You'll be like, all right, I'm not gonna keep.
Before
this
I answer
charade
that,
up.
if the boys in the background, you can count the amount of games they have till the Olympic break. All right. Count the amount of games, and we got to figure out what the standard is in that locker room to get Snoop Dogg on this podcast. But to answer your question, I'm not bringing my mind there. Winners don't bring their mind to like the what ifs. Okay, that's not going to happen. I have to be the ambassador of the Toronto Maple Leafs right now. I have to think of a solution. I can't be part of the problem. So we're going to fucking nail this interview down after the Leafs go on a run because Snoop Dogg sparked the boys. Everybody's going to have their awesome t-shirt. Wow. Dangling the carrot has made Keith Yandel rock. Who's on the jersey? Matthews? Austin Matthews jersey.
Poppy.
Well, they're going to need him healthy. That's what they're definitely going to need.
They have 35 games till Olympic break.
Wow, that's a lot.
How many they got to win to get Snoop Dogg on the podcast?
They have
3.
to win
3.
Well, yeah, I mean, let's to get Snoop on none. I mean,
what's the chat saying? Out of 35 games,
if we're doing like,
it should be 20.
I was gonna say like 20 and 15 isn't exactly like unbelievable, but
so
it's
what
a
is it?
winning record.
23.
So are we pushing like? But we want them on, so it's not really fair. I think if you're 25 games, 25 and 10.
I think let's say 22 wins. Is that a fair number?
Yes, in the last games against the Oilers before Olympic break.
Oh,
imagine if they got 21.
I would fucking love that shit. I would go to the game. So let's set the marker. Toronto Maple Leafs locker room. I don't care how you fucking get it done. Just get it done. 22 wins between now and Olympic break. And I'm going to be smoking a big fat blunt with Snoop Dogg himself on this pod. And we're going to be giving you boys the biggest double wrister because all these fucking morons counted you out. If you're not going to do it for yourself, do it for the guy next to you. And do it for the fans in the crowd. And do it for their play-by-play guy, Bowen. It's his last year doing this. He's done it for about 40 fucking years. He's never
3,000 games.
Over 3,000 games. Joe
Crazy.
Bowen. Do it for him. Do it
I want
for
to get
Snoop.
him on.
Do it for the fucking Maple Leaf on the crest. And
Now-
do it for the bong rip that I'm going to do with Snoop Dogg himself before the goddamn Olympics when the other Maple Leaf brings home a fucking medal. Come on.
He's
Okay.
foaming, Wit. He's foaming.
I know, the
I got
problem
my
is-
fucking rabies. I'm foaming at the fucking mouth.
Yes.
And I,
If you're
and
not
I
gonna
love
do
the
it for
guy.
yourself, do it for the dog.
I like the guy. The team is so bad. Like if they win 5 games before the Olympic break,
fuck
I'd be
up.
surprised.
Hey, guy, it's fucking Snoop. We gotta
I
have
know,
positivity.
but I know, but I'm a realist, man. And it's Thanksgiving week, so go
Thanksgiving.
Leafs, go. Go Leafs slow.
I don't
You
care
can't
how you
skate
say
with
it.
the speed of the league. All right. Black Friday sale this week. Check out the Barstool store. 20% off for Black Friday. We got great merch. These hats are sick. Awesome hoodie Biz has on. And then we got ChicletsU from Maine at noon tomorrow. We got Peakin at 8 p.m. And this is the last week to buy the breast cancer merch, helping out women get wigs 40 under 40. Thank you so much. What a show. Great time. Donnie does. Mason West, Keith, shout out you. Andrew Ladd, what a career. Tate McRae and Jack Hughes. There's just so
I
many
love it.
storylines. And we will see you Thanksgiving morning. Boom.
Peaking.